Real. Diana Ross. We know that's incorrect. Who is Diana Ross? Now, to be fair, you're only...
Well, of course, we know Diana Ross is not 95 years old. The correct response was, who is Tony Bennett?
Yeah.
Contestants Finn and Karen brutally aging up Miss Ross by nearly 2 decades.
Yes.
Of course, folks online, as you can see, they're quick to turn on him, showing their endless love. Al, see what I did there? For the music icon. Both the contestants, of course, hopped quickly onto Twitter to try and clear up any concern. Karen apologizing to Ross, writing, I didn't really think you were the answer, but I was running out of time, and I had to put something. Dan agreeing with that in the tweet. Me too. I knew she was not nearly that old, but better to write something than nothing. Just glad we're in this together. Just another reminder that bad game show responses live forever on the internet, so be careful. Next up, Coda, the hit film about the musically talented teenager in an all-deaf family is headed to the stage. Los Angeles' Deaf West Theater is going to be set here to produce an onstage adaptation of the Apple TV Plus Coda. 3 of the film's lead stars, Marlee Matlin, Troy Kotsur, and Daniel Durant, have all previously worked with that theater company out in LA. No word yet on when production for the show is going to kick off. Many, of course, are calling Coda one of the big movies to perhaps win Best Picture, or at least a favorite for this weekend's Academy Awards. I know who's going to be cheering them on harder than anybody.
Coda.
This young lady, Coda.
Come on.
Cheering for Coda.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
And it seems like we're not the only ones. We found this on the internet. They remade the movie poster instead of Coda. It says Coda. And they put you right in there.
There we go.
I'd watch that film.
Yeah.
I'd watch that
By the
film.
way, good luck to them.
Good luck.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Oh, and finally, one more.
One more.
Our buddy Anthony Anderson, the actor, recently moved to New York, which I'm psyched about. New golfing partner. He's going to be filming Law and Order, and it looks like he's getting the welcome wagon, literally. Check out how a couple of kind strangers helped Anthony get home from a big shopping trip.
Look, I have no idea who these people are, but I'm driving the vehicle right now because I just went to Best Buy to buy some TVs for my new place in New York, and he offered to drive me home, but didn't tell me he had a friend in the car. Hey, he's slanging that gas, too. I'm Alex. That's Alex, and that's Charm right there. And I'm driving their car. But not only am I driving their car.
I don't know what's going on there. I really don't. I don't know. And he had a cigar.
I think they are.
Why does he have a gas case? He can come in a ride home? But it doesn't matter.
Questions.
Welcome to New York,
He's going to
Anthony
fit in
Anderson.
well here in New York City.
Oh, I can't wait. And a couple more for you. We're going to start with Joe Jonas. During last night's episode of The Tonight Show, Joe gave an all-star theatrical performance of a Smash Mouth hit from 1999.
Didn't make sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart, but your head, it gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back streets? You never know if you don't go. You never shine if you don't glow. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now.
Wow, there's so much going on there. That is like Smash Mouth meets Les Mis. It's so wrong that it's almost right. That's a fun thing to watch. Finally, Gwen Stefani in a hilarious new video posted on Instagram. Gwen trading in the glitz and glam to dress up like her favorite country boy.
You when I die.
Well, if you think that begs the question, who wore it better, I think we all know the answer to that. It is Gwen Stefani all day and every day, twice on Sunday for that matter. All right, those are your headlines. We've got a lot more ahead. Coming up next, an inside look at a new show, If You Need a Laugh. It's called Our Flag Means Death. It's coming up.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. It's good to have you with us.
So delighted we're together.
We're together.
I make Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, see? So this show is for you, my friend.
We got a huge, beautiful crowd.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Popstar Plus. Actor Rhys Darby stars in Our Flag Means Death, a new HBO Max comedy, as a naive aristocrat turned pirate. When he meets the elusive Blackbeard, all sorts of crazy shenanigans ensue, and Rhys told us all about it.
Our Flag Means Death is loosely based on a true story about an aristocratic man, a very wealthy landowner in 1717 who lived in Barbados, who decided to have a midlife crisis and leave everything he had and go and become a pirate.
You upended your entire comfortable life to become a pirate.
Very odd indeed, but not only did he head to the high seas, he then encountered the greatest pirate of them all, Blackbeard, and they got along. Well, it's the opposites attract thing, I think, as well, obviously, but they wanted to both be each other. Blackbeard really kept his devilish ways in mind and was going to, steal his identity. So it was when they started to really bond that he realized, maybe I don't want to do that, and they started to get inside each other's heads and reveal that they had similarities with their upbringing and their fathers and what drove them to be who they are. And so that was those connections that made them closer. So Steed, he's a gentleman, he's a man of wealth, and he's a kind soul, but very lost. He kills with kindness.
Oh, right, so you're the gentleman pirate then?
Well sussed! He had a bad father experience, that's for sure. And I think he didn't want to be in the state he was in with his marriage, which was organized. Part of the aristocracy is that they do what they're told. And so he wasn't happy. And he would escape through reading and fantasizing about adventure. So he didn't really know what he was doing. But you've got to give him something for the courage to live again and to not just accept what you have. We only live once. But Steed, he lived twice. Steed sewn up really is just over the top and things that aren't necessary, including most of the things he's wearing, but they feel good. They make him feel good. So he wanted to make the pirate ship the same in the same way. So he built a library on the ship, obviously, because he is an avid reader. He thought everyone could read, but really it's only him and maybe one or two others.
It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, who brings an entire library to sea?
And he has a fireplace. Ridiculous idea with, on board a ship that could easily catch fire because there's candles everywhere. He's got an auxiliary wardrobe for all his extra outfits that he definitely doesn't need. And I think it's those little flourishes on the ship that sort of keeps him happy because, he's so out of his comfort zone in the world he's living in. I think my favorite part is definitely dressing up and improvising comedy. Those are my two favorite things. And just working with a great cast, an ensemble group of people from different parts of the world. We all had the same vision, and that was to make something beautiful, funny, and uplifting.
It's a power move, make people feel underdressed, and suddenly you're the one in charge.
I would love to improvise as much as possible, but unfortunately the scripts were really good, and so we had to stick to them. But we did get time to improv off the scripts now and again. I just like doing it. And also, when you're with Taika, he's very improv happy. So when we work together, we do a lot of scenes together. We pretty much say whatever we want half the time. I think my favorite scene so far to shoot with Taika was during episode 7, I think, when we are on the treasure hunt, and that's when we get quite close, and we're sitting around the fire, and you'll see that scene where we're talking about opening a restaurant, I think.
I'd come to your restaurant.
You might not get him. It's going to be very popular.
And that was all made up on the spot, and I can't believe we didn't crack up during it. Taika and I, we can do comedy till the cows come home, it's easy. But getting deep and personal and dramatic is something that we don't often do. So the scenes, like for example in episode 6, where it really hits home hard with Blackbeard when he realizes the Kraken and what he did to his dad, how he ended up killing his dad.
I'm not a good person, Steve. That's why I don't have any friends. Hey, I'm your friend.
It was genuine because we both have father issues ourselves, and so it was kind of, the parallel between fiction and fact and life and creativity was so close that it was one journey for sure that we both shared together, and you can see that I think in the show. So some of those emotions are real. Hard to pick a favourite scene. I think a personal favourite would be right at the beginning, just walking down those stairs, commanding my crew for the first time, looking extravagant and giving the what we're about to do will be perilous speech. That was fantastic because we did that on day 1, and it was the first time I had met everyone on the cast, and so it felt real to me. And getting these ridiculous reactions back from them, and then coming together with our little slogan, we talk it through as a crew. And that kind of really summed up the whole show for us, because no matter what adventures we would go on, I felt like we would talk it through. And it's getting in touch with your emotions, which, men have always had trouble doing. 300 years ago, I'm sure they really had trouble doing it then. And so to modernize it and to really get to grips with that idea, I think is really mentally healthy. I think viewers will definitely see that if you get outside your comfort zone and take a risk and use courage and use a little bit of confidence, just get it from wherever you can, even if it's just your outfits, you can change your life and you can go places you never thought you'd go and make your dreams come true just by being around people, being positive and never giving up. And I think there's something there for all of us to take.
And again, don't forget, you can stream Our Flag Means Death on HBO Max. And the final 2 episodes are out today. Take note of that. Coming up next, Naomi Watts is giving us a sneak peek at her latest thriller.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
These days, the news never stops. The morning's headlines change by afternoon. And by the end of the day, it's all totally different. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. I get it. I know that it can be hard to keep up. So let's get started together and go from there.
Hey, I'm Hallie Jackson, and we have a ton going on tonight. Here's the deal.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this closet.
I took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this closet.
I took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
And we're back with more here on Popstar Plus. The latest film from star Naomi Watts is called Infinite Storm, and it's based on the true story of an experienced climber named Pam Bales as she ascends Mount Washington. Well, Naomi Watts was nice enough to swing by the third hour here and tell us all about that role.
This morning, we are catching up with a Hollywood superstar. Naomi Watts was nominated for Academy Awards for her roles in the films 21 Grams and The Impossible.
In her latest film, Infinite Storm, she heads to the mountains, portraying experienced climber Pam Bales.
Now, when a blizzard hits, Pam encounters a stranded man, and she's going to stop at nothing to get them both to safety.
Pammy Jawasset, Search and Rescue. Yeah, that's me, Pam Bales.
You guys have a helicopter?
What? Heli? No, sir. Just me. No cell phone service till we get to the parking lot either.
No backup either.
Nope. Just you and me.
Naomi, good morning.
Good
Thanks for
morning.
being here. It's great
Bright
having you in
early.
studio. Yes.
Well, not so bright. Definitely not early.
Gray out there. So this movie, Infinite Storm, I mean, it's grit, it's determination, it's compassion. Besides those elements, what was it that really attracted you to do something like this, a story like this, in elements like this?
Yeah. Well, the extraordinary woman, Pam Bales, and this act of kindness that she gives to this other person in a very extreme situation, and the elements, as you say, but also her willingness, you know, and her strength and her discipline. She was able to put this man before her own needs, which was to survive herself. And I just was blown away by her on the first phone call that we had, and recorded conversations that she had with the writer. And she was also tackling her own demons, you know, having lost her children. And so this was a big story in many ways, and the power of nature, how it heals. It's such a good reminder. What you can get out there in the quiet of the mountains and the beauty of nature. It's really wonderful.
Talk about the elements a little more, because you really did notice the silence in the film as you were watching it. I mean, it was so intense.
Yeah.
What was that like filming? Because you were really filming in the mountains, in the elements. You were freezing, right?
Yeah, below zero temperatures, extreme winds. And I mean, one day we had a fierce electrical storm. We were up there on the mountain. We were told we had to get off because it was dangerous, and there was a power cut. We couldn't get down the mountain because the chairlift was not operating, and we thought, oh, we may have to camp out for the night. Wow. And that was rather scary. But yeah, we were well equipped. We had mountaineers guiding us. And also you realize this is what Pam deals with all the time. And this was certainly what took place that day.
Did you camp out for the night, or you didn't have to?
No, we didn't have to. Good question. Yeah, it was a few hours, and then we were okay.
Switching gears a little bit, can you believe it's been 20 years since King Kong has been out?
It's, crazy.
And
I went by quickly.
It certainly did. I mean, 20 years ago takes us back to like 2002, which doesn't sound like it was 20 years ago. But you were recently at Universal, and I love this picture that you posted on Instagram, you know, with the caption, when your teenager catches you eyeing an old flame. What are your favorite memories from that movie?
Oh, so many. Working with Peter Jackson and his wife and his glorious team, but also the community. We were working together for 7 months, and we became really close family almost, great friends. And just kind of an iconic role. And Darrow, And as David Lynch always said to me, you know, anyone that sits in the hand of King Kong, he goes, is a movie star for life.
Hey, by the way, you've got a new Netflix series coming out, Ryan Murphy. It's based on that Watcher, you know, the people who are sending the letters to that house, Watcher House.
Yes, that is a story that some of us know, and I'm not allowed to say too much about it, but it's a crazy story. Yeah, a family that moved to the suburbs and buy this beautiful home, start getting letters, and we don't know who they're from. It's quite spooky.
I remember that story.
Yeah.
It was a little freaky.
Yeah.
Naomi, thank you so much. Really appreciate seeing you here.
The movie's incredible.
That's right. Infinite Storm is in theaters coming up tomorrow.
Always great to hear from Naomi. That looks good. Still to come, some 90s nostalgia with Sarah Jessica Parker while she was filming the classic Hocus Pocus.
To stand on the edge of the cliff and jump takes a lot of guts.
If I never got to sing another song, I would still feel the joy that I feel right now.
We are meeting people one after the next who have made profound changes.
It's the little moments that are the transforming moments.
Oh my gosh, I never thought of that. Oh my gosh, I could apply that. I want to stop for a second. In season 2, I think you're going to be blown away by the life lessons.
Join Hoda for new episodes of her podcast, Making Space. Listen now.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world, because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. It's good to have you with us.
So delighted we're together.
We're together.
I make Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, see? So this show is for you, my friend.
We got a huge, beautiful crowd.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
And welcome back. The beloved classic movie Hocus Pocus came out back in 1993. And at that time, Sarah Jessica Parker stopped by today. So we thought, in honor of Sarah's 57th birthday today, we thought it'd be fun to take a look back, a little blast from the past, if you will.
Sarah Jessica Parker, good morning. Welcome back to Today. Nice to
Thank
see you.
Very nice to be
Now,
here.
your friends call you Sarah, but your family call you Sarah Jessica?
Well, there's a peculiar sort of crossing. Those who've known me the longest tend to call me Sarah. Those who know me more recently call me Sarah Jessica. And then there's a peculiar group in the middle that, call me, hey, you, what's your name, whatever.
All right, well, I'm going to call you Sarah Jessica since we just met this morning.
All right.
Tell me a little bit about this movie. How much fun was it to play a witch with Bette Midler and Kathy Najimy?
It was great fun. I mean, there were obviously, the elements were there, so it was sort of up to us to, The thing that was most fun and most sort of creatively satisfying was that there was very little about our characters beyond descriptions of what they do in the context of the script. So we really got to, and me especially for the first time, I had a chance to really create a character, which meant like a voice and finding physical stuff and learning to fly. And we all had our own separate and individual ways of flying, and our takeoffs were very different and unique. And it was great. And
what kind of witch did you want to create? What kind of witch is Sarah Sanderson?
Well, my theory is that she is the most fundamentally evil of all of them, because she is so not bright, so not calculating, that it is her innate nature to be evil. And my older sisters, it's a learned thing. It's like, learning to like liver. They have like learned this evil, and I have just picked it up. It's as part of my environment. And so I wanted her to be truly evil in the most uncalculating way, and still somehow be seductive. So whether or not that came to fruition is, not for me to say, but that was sort of my intention.
You worked hard on coming up with the right voice, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Tell me some of the voices you played with and why you finally settled on what you settled on.
The voice well, I think ultimately it was sort of trial by error, and I would sort of cautiously test things out. My first idea was to do, I don't know if you recall Dana Carvey doing George Michael on Weekend Update on the news on Saturday Night Live, but he used to do this terrific impression of George Michael. And I thought I would do that as about a 4-year-old English schoolboy. That I thought it was hysterical. Like, I would be in my hotel room practicing this voice, and I thought it was brilliantly funny. And then I finally had the courage to try it on the set, and there was just not a peep. Nobody thought it was funny at all. It just didn't fly. Then they wanted me to sort of do a Marilyn voice, and I thought, well, that's been done, and that's sort of boring. And so then I somehow sort of found this peculiar, this voice in between.
And how does that voice sound?
Well, it sounds stupid.
Can you do a little bit of it?
Well, I guess it was sort of here, like this, you know. It's a bit of a helium. It was like a small 4-year-old boy on helium. That was what I wanted. I tried to be consistent. What you sounded like. But she's practically, you know, Mooch. I mean, when you speak, it's like a moot point. She barely speaks in the whole movie. So,
in fact, you were disappointed. You think a lot of your scenes were cut out. Yes?
Yeah, I wasn't disappointed. I think that, you know, you work on something. We were about 6 months shooting this movie, so you know you expect to see your face like endlessly on the screen, and naturally that doesn't happen anyway. I mean, there's always editing, but they made a choice in editing, which, you know, philosophically and from a business point of view, I totally understand and in fact support. But it's at first shocking when you see a movie and you're not in it as much. But I'm really very pleased with the movie, and it's really nice because it's the first time I can really say I endorse and encourage parents to like take their children to see this movie, that there's no, like, it's morally and I think politically and just for a good time acceptable on every level. So I'm very pleased with it.
How was working with Bet? I know you all knew each other, or you knew of her because you had the same
I knew exactly
voice
who she was.
teacher,
Yeah.
right? Well, I mean, obviously you knew who she was from her career, but you had the same voice coach, yes?
Yeah, we did. And when I was doing Annie on Broadway, she was doing the Divine Miss M on Broadway, and we had the same singing teacher. I said that because I knew exactly who she was, and I think I could have been like hired help in her eyes. I mean, who knew who I was at this time? And I used to get to my singing lessons early so that I could listen to her, and she used to do these Italian vocal warm-ups. She used to do all these incredibly sort of eclectic variations of music.
And you'd be hiding?
I'd be in the kitchen listening, and then she would leave, and I would mimic everything she had done.
Well, who doesn't love that one? Hocus Pocus. And 29 years later, we can look forward to Hocus Pocus 2 because it's coming in the fall. Once again, quick happy birthday shout out to Sarah Jessica Parker. That's going to do it for us. Don't forget the Oscars are on Sunday. We have all day long our big Pop Start Plus preview special. That'll be there for you right here on Today All Day. Tune in to that, and we'll see you soon for another Pop Start Plus.
I'm Shop All Day contributor Chassie Post, and each week I'm here with the must-have fashion and beauty products at a price you'll like in Style Finder.
I'm Shop All Day contributor Makon Jovu, and I'm bringing you industry insiders and those in the know to share all the buzzworthy products sweeping social media and influencer trends.
And I'm Shop Today editorial director Adriana Brock, and I know shopping trends. I seek out new and notable products so you don't have to in Editor's Picks. This is Shop All Day Hidden Gems.
Hi, I'm Chassie Post, and we're back today with a new episode of Shop All Day. All about hidden gems, you know, those products that solve a problem, fill the void in your wardrobe, those products that we didn't even know we needed, but now we can't live without. Wait until you see what made the list. From what I use on my roots when I can't make it to the salon, to a quick and easy way to clean your makeup brushes without water. And remember, see that QR code on the corner of your screen? You can use the camera on your smartphone to scan it for instant access to the products on the show today. Or you can text SHOP to the number below to shop all the products we're sharing with you today. So let's get to it. Instead of hidden gems, we should call this one Hidden Roots. I am thrilled to introduce you to the Color Wow Root Cover-Up, which has come to my rescue on more than one occasion. I totally get why they have wow as part of their name. And I was introduced to this little wonder by a pro makeup artist who was helping me get my glam on before a show. And she noticed I had a little root. So she took out this darker color and she got the little brush applicator it was so easy, and she brushed it straight onto my roots. So it covered it up. It looked amazing, and I thought that was that. But then, oh my goodness, my jaw dropped because she took out the blonde color, took the little brush, and she brushed on blonde highlights. I felt like I had had a touch-up at the salon, and I couldn't believe it because it didn't feel sticky, and the brand says it actually has reflective properties, and that's what makes it blend in with your hair really well. Plus, I really liked that it didn't transfer to my clothes. I slept in it. It didn't transfer to my pillow. And the brand also says that it is water and sweat proof. Plus, it is completely temporary. It stayed in my hair until I took a shower and I washed it out. And it comes in 8 different shades. And this Color Wow root cover-up is amazing. Now, if you've been looking for that next level moisturizer to soothe, hydrate, and revive dull and dry winter skin, then you're going to love our next hidden gem, the Osea Undaria Algae Body Oil. I also have been on the hunt for a one-step ultra hydrating moisturizer for my body. I feel like I'm always focused on moisturizing and trying to hydrate my face, and I can tell that my arms and my legs and the rest of my body, especially after this long winter, also want some attention. So I had heard so much buzz about the Osea body oil, so I decided I had to try it, and I'm so glad that I did. I think it really does live up to the hype. And what I love so much about it is it feels so rich, and it absorbs really fast. I put it on after I got out of the shower, I pat dry, and then I threw on my leggings just about 30 seconds after. So that's really cool. And the brand says that it's designed to not only help hydrate and moisturize, but it also helps to nourish the skin, and they also say it helps to firm the skin. And the secret ingredient that everybody's so excited about is Undaria algae, which is a fancy word for seaweed. And the brand also says that they hand harvest the seaweed and they soak it in barrels for up to 6 months. So I am thrilled that I found this. So let's talk fashion. These finds happen to be one of the bigger trends on the horizon, the split hem pant. And who would have thought that such a small detail could add so much cool? Well, guess what? It can. In fact, sometimes it's the details that take something from average to elevated. So if you haven't yet seen the split hem pant, trust me, you're gonna see it absolutely everywhere. And what it is, it's a little slit down at the hem of the pant. And what I like so much about this trend is not only does it elevate your average pant or trouser or jean or even legging, but it also elongates the leg. It's really flattering. And also, it's versatile. You can wear it with heels or you can wear it with sneakers. So first, we have a vegan leather straight cut pant from Abercrombie, and as you can see, it's got this great little split hem here. And what I like about it is if you're wearing it with heels or your sneakers, it gives your shoes a little time to shine. Now, we've also seen this trend in a more casual way in leggings, and I think that these crossband leggings with the split hem here are such a great way to add a little jazz to your legging routine. And again, this is also elongating. You know, sometimes when you're wearing your leggings and the hem stops at your ankle, so from the side, you get a full long line. So I think that these are a real winner. Next, you're not going to believe this midi knit sweater dress. My jaw dropped when I found it on Amazon. I mean, talk about a diamond. This dress is incredibly stylish, and I can't believe the price. It really does look expensive. And the sweater dress is such a big trend, but a lot of times it's not the most flattering dress to wear. So what I like so much about this dress is it has that really flattering wrap silhouette, but it's done in a really lightweight and high quality feeling knit. Now, this dress has a lot of bells and whistles. So we talked about the wrap silhouette, which I love. But what I also like about it is you get the wrap detail in the front and the back. So that gives you the ability to sort of push down the shoulders if you want to give a little peek of shoulders, or you can wear it up if you want a more modest look. I also love the midi length. Another great thing about this dress, so versatile. You can dress it up, you can dress it down, wear it with a heel, throw on some tights, and you can wear it to work. So if you've been wanting to test drive the cutout trend without spending a bundle, we've come across another gem that checks all the boxes. This sweater may be called the cold shoulder, but in my opinion, this style is hot. In short, cutouts elevate and take any top to the next level. And this cutout trend has been such a big deal. But generally, we see this cutout trend on more form-fitting silhouettes. So I love that this is a really effortless way to get in on this trend. And we've got this little cutout detail, but we've got a loose, oversized knit sweater. So this gives it a lot of versatility. And this really is a sweater that I would throw on when I'm lounging around at home, or I'd put it on with some faux leather leggings or suede leggings, and I'd go out to dinner with it. So there's a lot of ways that you can wear it. And the sweater's a really nice weight. It's not too heavy. So next, we know a cozy slide sandal is quite possibly the most beloved shoe of the past couple of seasons. So when we came upon these plush slides, we couldn't wait to slip our feet right on in. And so these slides have everything that we look for in the trend. They've got that double strap with the adjustable buckle, and these are made out of a suede-like material. Now, the star of this slide, in my opinion, is this faux shearling. It is really, really plush. And if you're worried that shearling is gonna go out of style once spring hits, you are in luck. We are going to see tons of shearling this spring. It is not just for winter. And also, I really love the look of the cork and, of course, the rubber sole, which means you can wear them both inside and out, and they come in lots of different colors. And if you want to take a break on the faux shearling, they also have the regular sole. Lastly, we've got a bag that I've had my eye on for a while now, and I was so excited to see that it is back in stock. Yes, I was on the hunt for a fabulous and chic and affordable tote, and I found this bag. It's called the faux leather tote with chain detail, and I was so sad because it was sold out. Well, guess what? It's back in stock, so I bought two, the black and the brown, because I was terrified that I would miss it again. And what I like so much about this tote is, first of all, I think it looks so high-end designer. I think it looks really expensive. And I love a chain detail, and it fits so well, just sort of on your shoulder. And check it out here. So it's that slouchy, effortless silhouette. So here, there's not much in the bag, so it folds in, but there's a ton of room in this bag, and it fits my computer, all my essentials. And check out this little surprise. It comes with a detachable little pouch. So it's like two bags for the price of one. Plus it comes in 3 colors, the black, the beautiful luggage brown, and I'm loving this cream color. I'm thinking that it would look great in spring and in summer. So let's go through these products one more time, and you can use the QR code to get instant access to these items. We've got the Color Wow Root Cover-Up, the Osea Undaria Algae Body Oil, the Abercrombie Vegan Leather Split Hem Pants, and the Boot Cut Split Hem Leggings, the V-neck knit sweater dress, the cold shoulder sweater, the women's flat slide sandals, and the faux leather tote with chain detail. And just so you know, Today works with affiliate partners and earns a commission on purchases made through our links at today.com. And that's it for Style Finder. Up next, content creator and former Bachelor contestant Kayla Quinn will share her favorite hidden gems with Mako and Lovu.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversation about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world, because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Time to give yourself an entire body reset.
Let's go. The new approach to saving our planet. Simple life swaps, great for the environment.
This is quite the spring break crowd.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this?
Making Space, the inspirational podcast from Hoda Kotb. Listen now.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. It's good to have you with us.
So delighted we're together.
We're together.
I make Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, see? So this show is for you, my friend.
We got a huge, beautiful crowd.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi there, welcome back. I'm Makon Jovu, and this is Influencer Trends, where I'll be talking to industry insiders, and they'll share their favorite products and the must-have items to shop for right now. And don't forget the QR code on the corner of your screen. Use the camera on your smartphone and scan it to shop these products, or you can text SHOP to the number below to shop all the products we're sharing with you today. Kayla Quinn is a memorable Bachelor alum and a content creator whose popular blog is called With Love Kayla. And she came to play y'all today with her list of hidden gems. Kayla, so good to see you. How are you?
Great, thanks, Mako. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure to have you. So listen, you just did a big move. You moved from New York City to Austin. How is that going? Do you miss being in New York?
Oh, you are so sweet. We love it here in Austin. We have a lot more space, and I'm just so excited for this next chapter, kind of evolving from a New York-based lifestyle blogger to a home and beauty lifestyle blogger here in Texas.
Oh, and I love your blog. So many good gems. Listen, today's theme and episode is all about hidden gems, and you come across a lot of products, right? How do you decide what's worthy of being showcased?
I like to showcase products that I feel like really stand out and a lot of people ask questions about. So for example, I'm on social media every single day on Instagram and on TikTok. So I really get to connect with my audience and these women, and what they ask the most questions about, I feel like really are trending because that's what they're curious about, right?
Yeah, the trending items, but items that we can use. So before we get into these products, the Bachelor Nation fans would have my head if I didn't ask you questions about your experience being on the show. What's your most memorable experience from that time frame?
My most memorable experience would be living in the Bachelor Mansion with all of the women in California. It was such a lovely experience, kind of like being in a sorority house. And I feel like I learned so much about beauty from being with all these sisters in the show with me, because I don't have any sisters, and we would all, try different kinds of blowouts and really connect over beauty. So it was really fun.
Sorority house, except y'all are not fighting, but the prize is this one guy at the end. So I'm sure that was an awesome experience. Okay, Kayla, let's get to the goods here. Let's start with hair. So you brought these rollers, which are from Drybar, but tell me about them. So they have clips. How do you use them?
So the thing that's trending most on TikTok right now is really achieving that at-home blowout and really getting that big volume at home. And you could do it a couple ways, but one way you could do it is these self-adhesive hair rollers. And what's amazing is the secret to getting the big blowout is to make sure that when you apply the roller, that the end is really secure like this. And then you go from there and really create a tight roll. And then once you get your roller to the top, you apply an alligator clip and let your hair cool with the heat like this as you're doing your makeup. And then after 10 or 15 minutes, you have this huge, beautiful blowout at home.
I love that. So wait, let me make sure I get this right. You're applying it to wet or dry hair?
You are applying it to half dry hair, so damp hair. And so as you are using your blow dryer, you're blowing it out. And once you finish drying your hair, you then apply the hair roller and let it cool in place. If I explained that right.
Yeah. I think I got it. I want to try this on my hair. Let's move on to makeup. This next product, I'm almost tempted to eat it. It's not edible, folks, but I'm tempted. It's a cookie highlighter?
Yes, they call it the cookie highlighter, and I have the full palette right here, but I use this every single day. And one thing about social media is really making your makeup pop. And this highlighter, after I have tried dozens and dozens of them, I have it on my nose right now, but it really stands out and reflects the light. This is incredible, and you can even use it on the inside of your teardrops of your eyelids and create this almost iridescent look. And you could even use it up here on under your brows for a more open eye look and as a highlighter over your cheekbones. So wherever you apply it, it's really gonna make your highlighted areas stand out. And this is really a hidden gem.
I am obsessed with this. I just put a little bit onto my hand and my hand is twinkling and glistening. The shine is sensational. All right, so let's move on from the makeup. Now these glasses, first of all, it's a 2-pack. So you had my heart, Kayla, when you talked about a 2-pack of sunglasses. But the 90s are back in a big way. How do we wear them without them being too costumey?
So the way you can wear them for an everyday look is to wear them with neutrals. I like to pair these like you see right now. I'm wearing a white collared shirt, very business appropriate, but when you put these on, it makes your outfit totally trendy. So this 2-pack is so cute. It comes both with the black and the tortoiseshell. And so I just keep these in my purse and in my car, and you could be on trend wherever you're headed to.
I love the idea of a 2-pack. You could get the 2-pack, keep it entirely for yourself, or if you're feeling generous, you could share it with the bestie. You talked about sorority houses. This could be a good gift for the sororities. All right, let's move on to the next item that we have here. I love these mugs. A great gift for someone, hint, hint, who just moved into their first home. Let's talk about it.
These are so stunning. I have probably 12 of these in my house. This is the larger size, but they also come in the smaller size. And what's so elegant about this double-sided clear glass mug is you can see, obviously, whatever you're drinking through it. So it's aesthetically pleasing and just elevates the morning coffee. So if you are on Instagram, you can pour your milk in it and people can see all of the magic that's happening in there. And it's just really a beautiful home piece that you could use every day and kind of starts your morning off right. Plus, while your coffee is hot, you don't burn your hand, or you can microwave it and it keeps it warm in there while you are still holding it. So it's great.
It looks so cute. Now, speaking of things that look cute, I have to tell you, artificial plants are a little scary to me because I'm like, how do I put them in my house without them looking fake? But I like the ones you have.
So I've been on the hunt now that we moved to a new home in Texas to just have a lot of greenery in our home. And one home decor trend that's happening right now is neutrals, but also pops of greenery. And so olive plants are all the rage. And this one is just so cute. I like to keep it in my bathroom near all of my makeup, and it just creates a different color pop. And so olive trees are in. I have a couple different ones right now. So I've got this one that's small that you can put on a bookshelf as well for shelf styling. And then they have bigger versions. And what's really nice about this is you could put this on an entryway table and it really elevates anything that you have out there. And so you'll look very stylish in your home just by adding a couple pops of olive plants.
They are beautiful, great for an urban dweller, but even if you live in suburbia, those are so beautiful. Well, listen, Kayla, you are a gem. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Talk to you soon.
All right, talk to you soon. Bye. All right, now let's run through all the products one more time. The Dry Bar hair rollers, the hairpins, the Benefit Cookie Powder highlighter, the rectangle sunglasses, the Joy Jolt double wall espresso mugs, and the faux potted plants. And just so you know, Today works with affiliate partners and earns a commission on purchases made through our links at today.com. Up next, our editor's picks with Adriana Brock, who has more star products to simplify your life at home. Don't go away.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
To stand on the edge of the cliff and jump takes a lot of guts.
If I never got to sing another song, I would still feel the joy that I feel right now.
We are meeting people one after the next who have made profound changes.
It's the little moments that are the transforming moments.
Oh my gosh, I never thought of that. Oh my gosh, I could apply that. I want to stop for a second. In season 2, I think you're going to be blown away by the life lessons.
Join Hoda for new episodes of her podcast, Making Space. Listen now.
Can this still end diplomatically with Vladimir Putin in charge of Russia? There's a Supreme Court nominee. What would it take for you to vote to confirm her? So I guess the question is, can this end with sanctions alone? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this closet.
I took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Time to give yourself an entire body reset.
Let's go.
The new approach to saving our planet. Simple life swaps, great for the environment.
This is quite the spring break crowd.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Adriana Brock, and we've been sharing our favorite hidden gems. And it's finally my turn to tell you our editor picks of products you may not have heard about, but are about to make your life a whole lot easier. And remember, see that QR code on the corner of your screen? You can use the camera on your smartphone to scan it for instant access to all the products on the show today. Or you can text SHOP to the number below to shop all the products we're sharing with you today. So let's start in the kitchen. Mixing bowls aren't a secret kitchen hack, but this set in particular is making the rounds on TikTok. As you can see, the center of the large lid can be replaced with a grater attachment, which is genius because that's one less bulky kitchen tool that needs cleaning and storing. And if that wasn't enough, the inside of the bowl is also engraved with measurements, which is amazing when you're cooking anything or prepping anything. And what's really cool is that the bottom is silicone, so it's not gonna slip and slide all over the counter. They're gonna stay nice and sturdy when you're cooking. To store them, you just nest them inside one another, and you could tuck them away in any cabinet. And this next one is for all the bakers out there. It's an adjustable rolling pin that has been a consistent Amazon bestseller that combines 4 removable discs that can help you get your dough to that preferred level of thickness. Reviewers say it's really easy to use. You could use it on everything from pastry dough to pizza dough. It's really neat. You could see all the different ones here, and you just slide in whichever one you want, depending on the thickness, and you just screw it in. And you don't have to worry about keeping different pin sizes in your kitchen. You just use this one. Next up, electrical cords and outlets can be an eyesore, but this brand created a best-selling hack to make them blend in with the rest of your home decor. You could see here, this plate plugs right into your standard outlet, and it has an extension cord, which is attached with 3 additional outlets. So, because it's so thin, you can actually have your furniture sit flush against the wall, which is genius. And sensory gadgets aren't just for younger kids. Reviewers of all ages are really loving this fidget sphere, which is actually made up of 12 magnetic pieces. It's an upgraded version of that fidget spinner that became popular a few years ago, but it's been reimagined into an activity that actually gives you something to do with your hands. It comes in 4 different bright colors from aqua to lava, and it can be used to create different shapes and structures. Next, Practical and durable and roomy are just a few of the buzzwords reviewers have been using to describe this tote. I actually have this and I use it for everything from my day-to-day tote bag to grocery shopping and even a diaper bag. Over the last year, searches for tote and carry bags have soared by 800% according to Google Trends. Reviewers love this Everlane bag. They love the feel, the fabric, and that it's so lightweight and it's machine washable, so you could take care of it really easily. Now, let's talk about hair. This is Garnier's new glass hair treatment, and according to the brand, it is made with lamellar technology, which is made to target damaged areas of your hair and form layers to protect and nourish your strands. It works on all hair types, and the brand suggests using 1 to 2 doses for fine hair and 2 to 3 for thick hair. And one of our producers actually used it, and she said it gave her shinier and softer hair after just 1 use. And the hashtag Stash Scrunchie has taken over TikTok and inspired people to make their own. They're basically scrunchies that have a hidden pocket for storing small essentials like your ring when you're on the go. You can see here I have mine. Just pop it in. All you have to do is zip it up, and you can actually use the scrunchie. It's a bestseller on Amazon, and you don't need to get crafty. These are super cute because they're gonna help you keep those items within reach at all times. And lastly, most of the time it feels easier to invest in a brand new set of makeup brushes than go through the process of cleaning them all. And this brush cleaner is a much more affordable investment, and TikTok is obsessed with it. The spongy surface makes it so that you can rub powder and colors off your makeup brushes with ease. No more scrubbing, waiting for your brushes to dry when you need them the most. This cleaner itself is reusable too, and only needs to be washed once a week with soap and water. So you don't need any water or anything. It has a spongy top, and you just take your brush that's full of makeup and you tap it in, and you could see the makeup coming off. And you don't need to wait for them to dry or use any soap and water, and you can go back to doing your makeup. So let's run through the products one more time. The mixing bowl set, the Joseph adjustable rolling pin, the sleek socket, the Specs Geode magnetic fidget sphere, the Everlane Do-It-All tote, the Garnier Sleek and Shine glass hair water, the hidden pocket scrunchies, and the dry makeup brush cleaner. And just so you know, Today works with affiliate partners and earns a commission on purchases made through our links at today.com. Tune in next week for another episode of Shop All Day.
Over the years, I have been lucky enough to step into the Today Show kitchen and watch the best chefs from around the world teach us some incredible recipes. We had made that pesto, which was, oh, exactly. I almost got out of this one clean.
Turn it down.
Oh my gosh, I had one job. None of which I've mastered because, well, I actually don't know the first thing about how to cook, but I'm putting those days behind me for good. Today, Darnell Super Chef Ferguson is going to teach me his tricks for the most important meal of the day, breakfast. We're making an American-style omelet with all the fixings, the crispiest candied bacon, and a classic pancakes that everyone in my family will love. I'm feeling pretty confident about this one, and I love breakfast, so let's get started. Darnell Ferguson, thank you for coming all this way. I really love breakfast. I even like breakfast for dinner. Do you ever do that?
See, that's what I was gonna say. You know, we're gonna do breakfast, brunch, and some Brenner.
Okay,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
I love Brenner.
Our plan for today is 1, Savannah will learn how to cook a flawless sunny side up egg. 2, we'll cook an American-style omelet. 3, sprinkle brown sugar and grind pepper for candied bacon. 4, make the pancake batter. 5, use the griddle to make the pancakes. 6, plate and serve.
This is probably gonna make you laugh. I don't really know how to fry an egg. I mean, I've tried it before. I don't know. I don't know how to flip it over Could we just learn that basic thing first?
Yeah, so since you don't know how to flip it over, let's start with sunny side up.
Okay.
Which is my favorite style of eggs.
All right.
The least cooked egg
Yes.
is a sunny side up egg. Then you have over easy, you have over medium, and every egg keeps getting cooked more. We have our eggs right here.
Okay.
Little 101 for cracking eggs is
Yes.
never crack it on the corner.
Okay.
Do you crack it on the corner at home?
Yeah.
From here on out, you're not going to, okay?
Yeah.
So we're gonna crack it on a flat surface. Right now.
Well, but then see, that wasn't
Perfect.
very good.
See, that was easy.
Should I try it again?
Yeah, try another one. There
Just
you
let
go.
me try.
Okay.
This is the only way to learn. I
You were
think.
strong, so yeah, there you go.
Okay, that was
Perfect.
better.
See? Round 2 is there now.
Practice makes
Yep.
perfect. Okay,
So
now
we're gonna lightly just let that egg just fall right into the pan.
I see you just did yolk last. Was that on purpose?
Oh no, I don't have a choice. The egg is in control of this
Okay.
show.
Okay.
It's gonna do what it wants to do. I'm just here as a bystander.
Okay, the egg is driving. I'd be worried. I'm already feeling a little stressed, like it's gonna burn.
No, it's not gonna burn. It's
Okay.
very low temperatures.
Okay.
Very low. So you don't have to worry about that. And it shouldn't stick because it's non-stick pan. Yours looks like something that is not a true like egg, how perfect that looks.
I mean, it really does. It
It
kind of
does.
looks fake.
Yeah, it does. Like yours doesn't even like a real egg. That's how good you are. You see, that's the confidence you need.
So now you're good for my confidence.
Okay, so we're gonna get a little bit of butter,
Okay.
right?
And then what?
And then once it melts down, we're going to take our spoon and we're going to just put the butter over the egg whites.
Okay,
And that's
that's
going to help cook it.
That's cool.
So you're taking a hot liquid
Yes.
and you're putting it over your undercooked eggs.
But not on the yolk, just on the whites.
Just on the whites.
Okay.
Here you go. I'll show you this perfect egg, which is almost done. Only
Yes.
has about another 30 seconds.
How do you know it's almost done?
It'll be firm.
Okay.
So now it's finished.
Okay.
Now our sunny side up egg, you've done this. Easy, just like a pro. Now we
Okay.
can put it on our plates.
Wow.
You can grab your toast plate.
Okay.
Making eggs is one of the easiest things, but I will tell you this. If you ever want to know how great a chef is,
Yes.
tell them to make you eggs.
Really? Why?
It takes time, it takes a lot of skill, and
How do you get it off the pan?
so it just want to fall right on off.
Oh, you're just
It'll
gonna kind of like
Yep.
slide it.
Just slide it right on off. We have a
Okay.
little flaky sea salt.
Okay, yes. This looks incredible, by the way.
Well, you did it. See?
Wow.
Look at this.
Okay.
And then we got a little black pepper if you like it.
How do you know, though? I guess I'm still obsessed with this, like the yolk. How do I know if it's like runny or thick enough?
The yolk is the easy part.
Okay.
You want it runny. It's
Right.
it's the whites
Okay.
that you want cooked.
Okay.
So the whites are cooked, the yolk is runny, that's sunny side up. And
Look at us.
toast.
Just two chefs
Yep.
making eggs. Cheers.
Yes. You want to try it out? This is what everybody wants.
Oh
over
my
here.
gosh, so good. And of course, I like to mop it up with the toast.
Yes.
Mm,
That's delicious.
so good. Darnell, I think we're ready to graduate to something even trickier.
So you ready to go into omelet making?
I am.
So let's have a good toast to those sunny side up eggs that we made.
We always have a cocktail on the show.
I love it.
I think we're mimosing today. Let me see.
That's delicious.
Ease up on the orange juice.
Omelets are fun. There's not a lot of things you cook that are fun to cook, but omelets are fun to do.
Okay, I'm into this.
They're fast. It'll make you feel like you're in the NBA for a little bit because you can do it and you'll get your confidence up. The first thing you want to do is what we call mise en place. We have everything laid out first, and then we want to make sure our knife skills are perfect. So the first thing we're going to actually do is the ham.
I've learned a couple things about knives.
You're doing great.
Okay.
There you go. I worry about your hands being out like that.
I know. Actually, when I took piano lessons when I was 6, Mr.
Mhm.
Cloret made us do the piano like this. You know, you were supposed to have curved fingers. That's
Yeah.
what, I need to remember that.
It's a great way. So just small pieces, consistent sizes. That way the omelet is pretty smooth.
Okay.
There we go.
This looks so good. Okay. All right, chopped enough. We got plenty of ham.
Yes.
Ham is my favorite, though. So good.
Ham, wait till you try the candy bacon.
Oh,
It's gonna be
okay.
your new favorite.
All
I know
right.
your kids are gonna love it, by the way. Let's do our eggs. now.
Eggs, okay. I
Crack 2
learned from a
eggs.
very wise chef. Never on the corner, always here. Now
So
we
we're gonna
whisk.
whisk it?
Okay. I know this from scrambling.
Yes.
I usually do it with a fork. Does it matter?
No.
Okay.
Whisk is, we're gonna put more air into it. So, a little salt and pepper in here.
Okay. Oh, yes. Always salt and pepper. Okay.
You know?
Like this much salt, or is that too much?
No, that's great.
Like what about more?
Remember, you can always add more later.
Okay, I know. I tend to undersalt, but now I've been told by so many of you chefs to put more salt that I might be over-salting. How's that? Good?
That looks great. Looks great.
Okay.
We'll whisk that together.
Do you ever put milk in it or no?
Scrambled eggs, I like to put the fat in there. I like to put the milk in there. And it stretches out your eggs so you got a lot of kids to cook for at home.
Yeah.
So I have 8 kids. 6 who stay at my house full time. So
Oh my gosh.
that's why I call my wife my junior chef, because she's always cooking for juniors.
Oh. That's amazing. Wow. Okay.
Before, we're gonna put a little butter in here. We're gonna let it foam up a little bit.
This is my big question about omelet making. When do you put the toppings in?
So there's no right answer to that. You can put it in before, like we're gonna do today,
Yeah.
and let them cook a little bit.
You mean you put the, wait a minute. You put the vegetables in before the eggs?
Yes, that is one way of doing it.
Okay, wow, you're blowing my mind.
Now let's go ahead and put whatever vegetables and meats you want to put inside.
Okay, so
here.
this would be when I put the spinach in.
Yes.
Which I don't usually like spinach, but I want to learn, so I'm putting
Help
it in.
soften it up a little bit.
Now these are big old leaves. Should I have chopped those smaller?
No, they're gonna cook down.
I'll put a couple peppers.
So we have this going, and remember, all these meats are cured meats, so they're already cooked enough.
Oh, okay.
So we're not worried about cooking the meats.
Got it. It's
Right?
more like heating them up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and pour our eggs in.
Okay. So this is enough.
That's enough.
I don't have to wait for these to be brown
No.
or anything? Okay.
No.
Okay.
There you go. Pour it right in there.
Okay. Ooh.
Fancy.
Okay.
All right. So now go ahead and scramble your egg a little bit.
Okay.
Because we want to get everything evenly incorporated.
Okay.
There you go. And then now we're going to let it set. Perfect.
Get over there. I want it to look like yours does though.
So look, now I'm going under my egg a little bit, allowing the runniness to run off and go underneath it. Yep. So you don't have.
I don't have
much
any
right
runniness.
So you have a little bit right
Well,
there.
there. Should I just make a hole for it?
There you go. We'll help each other out.
Okay.
There you go. And then
Now
you don't have
lift.
much.
Okay. Oh, but I want that. Oh, I see. So like any of this little extra bits.
Yep. Now it's cooking. So we'll leave it like this for 1 second.
So do you feel like a spatula like this is the good implement, like the
you
easiest?
need a rubber spatula.
A rubber spatula.
Yep.
Okay.
Would you rather just put our toppings right here and fold it over, or do you want to flip an omelet first?
I think I need to learn to flip.
Okay. We're going to assist the flip. It's called an
Okay.
assisted flip.
Assisted flip.
I have my spatula under a little.
Yes.
And I'm going to use that to help me flip my egg over.
Oh, the whole thing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, no way can I do this.
Your
no
left
way.
hand is hard
Yes,
for
I'm a
left-handed people.
Everything's hard for us.
So go towards the top.
Wait, what? Oh, because I was gonna flip it that way, but you don't
that's
think
what's more comfortable. I'm not left-handed.
Okay,
so
yeah.
everything's different for people
Okay,
who are.
yeah, we're special us
So go
lefties.
under a lot,
Okay,
and then
I'm
you
under
want
a
to
lot.
assist
Okay.
it with the flip over like that.
I'm scared.
It's like jumping in a pool.
I can't. Okay, one.
You have it.
I know it's gonna fail. Okay, one. I don't want to ruin it. See?
no,
No,
you're
but
good.
it didn't.
Now you go back and you just get the rest over.
Okay, but
See?
that wasn't good.
That was good.
Is it supposed to? No, I did it wrong.
No, you're perfect.
But is it? Look, it's folded now like a burrito.
You're gonna fold it over again. It's okay.
Okay.
So now you'll
just
put your
leave
cheese
it, just
inside.
roll with it like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Now you'll put. I like Gruyere cheese.
Okay, me too. Which
So
one's that?
That's that one. Yes.
I like that too.
So put it on the furthest point of your omelet,
Oh, that's interesting. Why is that?
because you're gonna flip it over and you want all that heat to sit right on top of it.
I'm gonna do. Which is this sausage?
That is sausage.
Sausage is my
Yes.
favorite. Ham is my favorite. I'm going for it.
There you go.
And all on the side too again.
Yep, all on that
Okay.
side. You did a good job flipping.
Then I
did.
don't know. I want it, but was it supposed to be like half like this, or was it supposed to really be covering the whole
This
pan?
is at home cooking. You know, now if you were in the restaurant and we had to see, this is what you're about to eat at home. So that is perfect for at home.
But I want to get an A, Darnell. I want
So
to be
that's
like.
A minus, but
Okay,
it's still an A.
okay,
You
okay,
know? So
okay.
Then I want to flip my egg
Okay,
over
we're
to the other
flipping again.
side.
Oh, like another folder, like
Yep.
this, like that.
Yep, just fold it over. Yep.
See, assisted with Darnell. Now it's getting kind of brown. Is that too brown?
No, you're fine.
I mean, look, this is a disaster.
That is good.
No, you know it isn't. And now these guys are falling out.
Well, technically, you're going to eat them anyway.
Okay,
So you got to keep your eyes on the prize.
but I don't think they're getting too warm.
There you go.
Come on, Darnell. You know this is a fail. You don't have to be nice about it. Can I just creep those guys in? there?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And then we put it on our plates.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
I wouldn't flip it again? I feel like it needs another flip.
Flip yours one more time. See? There you go.
Yeah, okay. I like to flip a lot. This is the saddest omelet. You know it. We all know it. Let's compare. Oh. Wonder
that
who
bad.
did what. It
So-
doesn't look that bad.
No, it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're being hard on yourself.
Okay.
This is just one part of breakfast. We still have to do the candied bacon and the powerful pancakes.
Oh, okay. So
do you
I'll go
see these
get these on the table.
All right.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson. Streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. It is good to have you with us.
So delighted we're together.
We're together.
I make Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, see? So this show is for you, my friend.
We got a huge, beautiful crowd. To stand on the edge of the cliff and jump takes a lot of guts.
If I never got to sing another song, I would still feel the joy that I feel right now.
We are meeting people one after the next who have made profound changes.
It's the little moments that are the transforming moments.
Oh my gosh, I never thought of that. Oh my gosh, I could apply that. I want to stop for a second. In season 2, I think you're going to be blown away by the life lessons.
Join Hoda for new episodes of her podcast, Making Space. Listen now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. It is good to have you with us.
So delighted we're together.
We're together.
I make Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, see? So this show is for you, my friend.
We got a huge, beautiful crowd.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson. Streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Everybody loves bacon.
No, everyone loves candied bacon.
I was going to say, usually if I make bacon, I just put it in the microwave. Can we still be friends?
We can be friends because if you're cooking, that means I'm eating.
Okay.
Yes.
But candied bacon seems intimidating.
Yes. Super Chefs, our restaurants, are the home of the candied bacon.
Okay.
This is our specialty. You cannot even come in and ask for regular bacon. We don't offer it.
How do we do it?
So I'm gonna open up the pack.
Okay.
I'll open it for you. You can get us half a cup of brown sugar in that bowl for me.
All right. Like just pack it a little?
Yeah, pack it down. We're gonna lay our bacon sideways. So if you're cooking bacon at home, the reason why the microwave isn't the best method is because it shrivels down the bacon.
Well, that's true.
Yep. Whereas if you cook it on the sheet tray or you cook it in the oven, it keeps the bacon the same length as the bacon.
Now you have this like wire rack and foil. Is that necessary?
It's really necessary for candied bacon.
Okay.
So we have the wire rack, that way the bacon doesn't cook in its own fat. So
How'd you get into cooking, Darnell?
I got into cooking by watching Emeril on TV. He was my inspiration. He was very unique. And if I wasn't going to be a chef, I was going to be a Navy SEAL, so he had a really good uniform on. And I wanted to wear a uniform.
Now you have a chef's uniform.
Yeah, now we have chef coats, which everyone has to wear I'm going to get you a chef coat.
Oh, I don't know if I deserve it.
First thing we're going to do is we're going to freshly cracked black pepper on top of it.
How much?
How much pepper do you like? A little bit.
I only like a little.
So we'll put a little bit on there. See, that's the thing about cooking. It's about the person, not the recipe. I'm going to go right down one piece first.
Oh, okay.
See, you're a rebel. You just went everywhere.
I know. It's like, well, I didn't know. Now I see I should have watched you first. Yours is more classy. But you're putting a lot on there.
Well, I want to taste something besides sweet. Because black pepper also has a little heat to it.
Yeah, okay.
And then we're going to sprinkle brown sugar on top of each piece.
So,
Be as attentive as you would like to.
Okay.
There we go. So if you want to grab these two and take them to the oven, I can open the door for you.
Oh, we're doing oven. We're not frying. Yeah.
No. Always at home, turn your oven on 400 degrees.
Yes.
Put your bacon on a rack and just put a timer.
Oh, really?
You don't have to worry about it anymore.
Okay.
It'll come out perfectly and it won't lose all of its size.
Oh.
We'll go ahead and put these in the oven on 400 for 25 minutes.
Okay, got it. Does it matter which rack?
No, because we're gonna use both of them.
Okay.
Now, if we had the broiler on, then it matters which rack. But since we have it on bake, it won't matter.
All right.
See, you are almost there with candied bacon.
That wasn't that hard.
No, that was easy.
Yeah.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Making Space, the inspirational podcast from Hoda Kotb. Listen now.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. It is good to have you with us.
So delighted we're together.
We're together.
I make Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, see? So this show is for you, my friend.
We got a huge, beautiful crowd.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversation about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? Her name is Lester. Who's this?
Making Space, the inspirational podcast from Hoda Kotb. Listen now.
These days, the news never stops. The morning's headlines change by afternoon, and by the end of the day, it's all totally different. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. I get it. I know that it can be hard to keep up. So let's get started together and go from there.
Hey, I'm Hallie Jackson, and we have a ton going on tonight. Here's the deal.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
It's pancake time.
Okay.
So I gave you a personal recipe of mine. You know, I worked on this for years to perfect it.
This is the Darnell Ferguson perfect pancake right
Yes,
here.
this
Okay.
is it right here. So we're gonna start with the batter first.
Bye-bye Bisquick.
Yeah. Yes, bye-bye.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do first is our wet mix. We're
Okay.
gonna start with our version, well, my version of buttermilk.
Okay, 2 cups, which you can see. Now, why not just use old buttermilk? Like, why are we using our own?
Okay, so this is what happened. In the restaurants, buttermilk is so expensive
Yeah.
compared to regular milk that I could not feasibly charge people what I had to for how much the buttermilk was costing me. So I figured out how to make the same exact thing happen.
So milk plus, oh, this looks like a 1/4 cup of
Yep,
the
distilled
vinegar.
vinegar, yep.
Okay, and am I just stirring this up?
Nope, just let it sit.
Oh, okay.
Let it sit, the curdle a little bit. You see it's getting a little thicker
Oh,
up
I
top.
do see that.
See?
Oh,
Like
okay.
buttermilk would get.
Interesting.
Yep, so we have that going on. Now let's go ahead and crack 3 eggs inside of here.
Okay.
There we go. There for your shells.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Thank you. You wanted to use the side of this at first, I can tell.
I did, but I fought the urge because you taught me, and I don't want you to think I'm not listening. I am definitely
Thank you.
listening. Yeah.
Let's try this last egg one-handed. So the key with one-handed eggs is you just want to separate it like this. That way when you crack it right in the middle, you're just pulling it apart.
Okay, I don't know how this is gonna go.
It was a little nervous when I had to learn it my first time. There you go. Now you just pull it. There you go. Look.
Stop! Oh my
Good
gosh,
job.
I did. I would high five you, but I'm all yokey. Okay, now am I whisking these?
Yep, you're gonna go ahead and whisk them together.
Am I trying to get air like I was for the other?
Nope,
for the
just
omelet?
incorporating.
Okay,
There you go,
so
perfect.
is that good?
Yep.
All right.
So let's go ahead and add our vanilla to our eggs.
Okay, let me see. It says I'm obsessed with 1 teaspoon vanilla. Okay.
1 teaspoon of vanilla going right in there. This is our wet mix.
That's it?
So you can go ahead and pour this inside of here if you like.
Okay.
See that? That's what we want right
Wow,
there.
look at that. How interesting. It's all lumpy.
Yep, just like buttermilk.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, so it's mixed. So,
Now this is where I could get kind of messy.
so we'll move that to the side now because you have it done and it's perfect.
Is it
You know-
whisked enough?
Oh, it's going to be whisked up now. So now we have our dry mix. We have our flour here.
Yes.
We're going to add sugar. We are
Sugar.
adding 3/4
3/4
cup.
cup sugar. Okay. This says 1 teaspoon baking soda.
Then 2 baking powder.
Okay.
Yep. You need twice as much baking powder than you do baking soda when you're making this batter.
Okay, good to know.
There you go. So we got a little salt going in there too.
How much?
1 teaspoon.
I hate it when they don't tell me how much, you know? I want to know.
Yeah.
It's always like, you chefs, it's always like, a sprinkle of this, a dash of that. Like, well, what about us mortals? We don't know what to do. Okay, now, do I stir it?
There you go.
Okay. Now I'm just kind of mixing it
Yep,
about.
incorporating it in before we mix everything at one time.
Okay. Flour is so messy.
This is where you put the apron on in the restaurant.
Yes.
You put it on at home.
I really should. But I wanted to wear the sweater because we're going to make magic. Abracadabra.
A little bit in.
And start stirring.
Yep.
Now, is this one of those things where you don't want to, like, oh, shoot, overmix?
This is that thing.
Okay.
That you don't want to overmix.
How's my whisking technique? Like,
You
is-
whisk with your shoulders. You want to whisk with your
like
wrist.
what? Like that?
Yep. So more like
Wait,
this.
show me.
You see, less. So when you're doing it, your whole arm is into it.
That's right.
Yeah. You just want to.
I'm whisking.
Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
It already looks
You
like
see your air
nice
bubbles
and thick.
starting
Yes.
to form.
And air bubbles are okay, right?
Air bubbles are what's gonna make it rise.
Oh.
You know, it's gonna be those little pockets of air that's gonna form. So you're perfect right there. You don't have to mix. Look at you.
Clean whisk.
Clean
I
whisk.
was never worried.
So now we're gonna move over to this contraption here.
Okay, this
is our flat top griddle, which is also my favorite cooking utensil in the kitchen. So we have it turned on 300 degrees.
Okay.
Look how much fat is on there. That's all you need.
Okay, wow.
So you're gonna get one ladle right there.
Mm-hmm. Does this look?
That looks great.
Okay.
Do it right in the middle of that.
Ooh.
There you go.
Okay. Do you want me to do yours?
Yep, do one for me.
Now, big question would be, when do you put the toppings in? Like when it's almost cooked, do I do it now?
Always put the toppings in before you're gonna flip it.
Okay.
Because what happens is, if you put them in now, imagine we put these big old chips inside of it now. It's gonna weight down the batter from rising. We want it to rise, right?
Yeah. When do you flip the pancake?
So you'll see the bubbles starting to form. You'll see the outside of it starting to not break over.
Now, I shouldn't be like messing with it,
No,
right?
you should. You like to touch your food
I
when
do.
you're cooking
I
it.
want to see what's happening. I get antsy.
The goal is when you flip it, you don't want to flip it and the batter runs everywhere.
Why is it already smelling so good?
Because I did the recipe.
It has a little Darnell magic.
About 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes
Okay.
on each side.
Okay.
We're ready to flip some pancakes.
Wait. All right, let's watch the flip. We already had. Okay.
See, I'm going under first. Make sure I got enough underneath there.
God, the pressure.
And then just
Go
a
on.
good flip.
Mine's bigger.
This is
This is like, okay, come on.
confidence. See, confidence.
Do it.
1, 2, ready, go.
Yes!
Perfect. Look at that.
Yeah, and that's perfect.
And I see you want to smash it
I
down.
do. I wanted to
Don't
so
do it.
bad.
I see
I wanted to-
you wanted to smash it down
I
so
did.
bad. I could
What?
tell. No, because you want it to rise.
Okay.
You know, allow the baking powder, baking soda, and the vinegar to do what they were created to do.
Wow, you really get me.
So let's toast to
Okay.
your pancake flipping, your omelet half flipping.
Half flipping.
You
I'm
know,
working on that.
But you're doing a great job.
What about egg cracking?
Oh, the egg was 100%. One hand.
One-handed egg cracking.
So we're ready to go. I have the plate here, and then
Okay.
our next go around, we're going to just get creative.
Ooh.
There you go.
Yum.
Now let's drop some more
Now,
pancakes
do I need to
down.
respray?
Well, I'm gonna wipe it down first because you can
Okay.
see the oil now
Yeah.
has started to burn.
Yeah. I'm gonna spray it up.
Yep.
I'm gonna do yours too. Okay.
Perfect.
Now, let's see if I've learned this at all. How's that look to you? Enough?
Great.
Okay. Now, wait 10 years while it cooks on each side.
It does take some time. I will
It
give you that.
does. Now, because the previous Savannah that had not been personally trained by Darnell would have probably flipped it right then. Because I'm like, oh, bubbles. But now I know, kind of wait.
Even bubbles.
Patience, grasshopper.
So what kind of toppings are you gonna, what kind of filling are you gonna put in these? I'm going
I-
funfetti for sure.
Yeah, I think if my kids were here, they would definitely not pick the blueberries because it seems healthy and close to the earth. They'd go more for this.
Yeah, so you're gonna do chocolate and
I
peanut
think
butter?
I'm gonna do chocolate and funfetti. Is that crazy? Or chocolate and peanut butter?
Now that sounds like a
Chocolate peanut butter
Snickers made
sounds
in
good.
heaven.
Yeah, that does. Okay, you're right. Chocolate
Okay.
peanut butter.
So go ahead, now it's time.
Oh
Look
yeah,
at
it's
that
time.
pancake.
Okay, so now I'm gonna see how you just spread throughout or only in the middle.
Oh, all throughout.
My kids would die over that. That's so fun. Now look, I want to flip it,
Now
but
you're
now
ready.
am I? Because then this is gonna be right against the hot stove. That's okay.
Oh, that's what we want.
Oh, okay.
Same time, okay.
Oh God.
One,
Oh boy.
There
Oh
you go.
boy. Stressed out.
1, 2, ready, go.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's a
oh,
perfect
look
pancake.
at.
No, you want-
Almost smushed it down. I'm never using the
Yes.
box batter again.
Yes.
That
We're
looks
ready.
done, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So I like to put them upside down so you can actually see which pancakes are which.
Yes.
Look at that.
Ding, ding. That looks so good. Okay. Bacon's almost done. Should we do a couple more, I guess?
Yes, let's drop a couple more while we get the bacon out the oven.
Can you save this batter, by the way?
You can use that batter for the next 5 days.
No.
So make it one time, cook a little bit that day, the next morning you wake up. That's how people cook pancakes every morning.
Oh my gosh.
It is that time to get this bacon.
Okay.
There you go, so you don't burn yourself.
Yeah. Oh, you've heard about me. Ooh, it smells so good. Oh my gosh, this looks incredible.
Shut up.
Ah, graceful as always. Okay. There we go. Man, that looks good.
Look at that bacon.
Oh my gosh. Yum, this is perfect. It seriously looks so pro. Now I'm just trying
I'm
to.
extremely hungry.
I know, me too, me
So
too.
one thing you want to do is
Yeah.
while the bacon's still hot,
Yes.
you want to move it off the tray.
Okay,
because
so-
if you let the bacon sit, then it has that chance that it's hardening from the candy.
Hardening, okay,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, so move that, yeah.
Perfect gloss on top of the bacon.
I mean, it looks
See little
perfect.
specks of brown sugar. I imagine it's the one you made because it has less brown sugar on it. I'll take the
It's
little
true, but that's
crispy
good to
pieces.
know.
I'm starving now.
Okay. All right, shall we? Want to grab the pancakes?
Yes, let's go eat.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson. Streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world. Because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson. Streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
To stand on the edge of the cliff and jump takes a lot of guts.
If I never got to sing another song, I would still feel the joy that I feel right now.
We are meeting people one after the next who've made profound changes.
It's the little moments that are the transforming moments.
Oh my gosh, I never thought of that. Oh my gosh, I could apply that. I want to stop for a second. In season 2, I think you're going to be blown away by the life lessons.
Join Hoda for new episodes of her podcast, Making Space. Listen now.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this?
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Breakfast with the Breakfast King. Let's go.
Ah, and now the breakfast queen.
Exactly. Well, trying. Maybe princess.
Princess.
The breakfast apprentice. Okay. My omelet doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's a little wonky, but I'm sure it'll taste just fine. Okay. Pretty good if I do say so myself. How's yours?
Whoever made this knew what they were doing.
I gotta eat the pancakes. I mean, come on.
That's good.
That is so delicious.
It's
Oh my
nice,
gosh.
it's light.
It's light, it's fluffy. Goodbye, boxed mix.
Yes.
Hello, Darnell.
A couple more
Oh my gosh.
ingredients to buy at the grocery store, but it's worth it.
It's worth it. It doesn't take that much longer. Mm-mm.
Now you have to
That
try
is-
the bacon too.
Okay. Oh yeah, the bacon.
You forgot all about the
I
bacon.
know, I did actually. That is delicious.
I'm glad you like it.
We love to have people over. I love to cook a big old breakfast. This is a good time to kind of show off and make it seem like you got skills.
Yep, and all it takes is a little sprinkles, some chocolates, chips, and some peanut butter chips.
Oh yeah,
Takes it to a whole nother level.
and the candied bacon.
That will be the star of your house if you have a party or brunch and you have that.
I mean, people will never leave.
Well, now you gotta put it in to-go boxes.
Yeah.
That way they know it's not for here forever.
Thank you so much for teaching me.
No, thanks for allowing me being easy, understanding, and not touching the food so much.
Well, I feel like you gave me some really good secrets, like some special just Darnell stuff, and I'm so honored. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Things I've just been working on for about 10 to 12 years. you know?
Yeah.
Gave them to you in 10 to 12 minutes.
I know. It's like all this heart. I'm really excited to
Oh.
try it.
You did a great job.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yes.
That's right.
There are dozens of Chinatowns all across America with interesting architecture, diverse restaurants, and specialty shops. It's no wonder they're popular with locals and tourists alike. They also provide places for new immigrants and for families to create communities. But with gentrification and all sorts of problems from the pandemic, it's no wonder that all these Chinatowns are rapidly changing. It's time to head out of Studio 1A and hit the road for a new kind of culinary adventure. Follow me as I taste some of the most iconic foods around the country and meet the families behind them. Together, we're going to learn how a good meal has the power to connect us to our past, our future, and each other. Okay, so it's no surprise. There's incredible food to be found here in Manhattan's Chinatown, folks lining up all the time. But there used to be Chinatowns in cities and towns, big and small, all across this country. In fact, the longest running family-owned Chinese restaurant is in a place you might never think of, Butte, Montana. At the turn of the century, Butte, Montana was a bustling mining town. The invention of electricity leading to a demand for conductors like copper. Mining boomed, the city flourishing. The demand for labor brought thousands of immigrants to Butte. They came from so many different countries, including Italy, Ireland, and China. It was the classic portrait of the American West, with gambling, saloons, even a red light district. By 1914, Butte's Chinatown was thriving with over 60 Chinese-owned businesses.
Now we're going to prepare broccoli beef. My name is Jerry Tam, and I'm the owner of the Pekin Noodle Parlor.
The Pekin first opened as a tobacco shop and casino run by Jerry's great uncle, Hum Yao. 2 years later, Hum adding a restaurant, and the Pekin Noodle Parlor was born.
This building has 3 different levels. The top level obviously is the Pekin Noodle Parlor, and then the second level on the main street used to be a herbal medicine shop.
That shop was run by Jerry's great-grandfather, Tam Kwang Yi.
It's crazy to think that, everything came over from China at one time. Like, they didn't make soy sauce in America. The noodles were fried and brought over on ships because they didn't make fresh noodles. So the history of this place really holds true that this is a Chinese restaurant, from Chinese immigrants.
I met up with culinary historian Grace Young to learn more about America's earliest Chinatown. Where was the first Chinatown and how did it get started?
The first Chinatown is San Francisco. The first Chinese came to California for the gold rush, and that was 1848. And they came because America needed cheap labor. And so from gold rush, they ended up doing farming, manufacturing, and then eventually they worked on the Transcontinental Railroad. And the first Chinatown formed because America wanted cheap labor, but they didn't want the Chinese to live with whites. So they were ostracized from white communities.
So talk to me about that first wave of Chinese immigration to the U.S.
The Chinese came from southern China, principally from the area of Canton, and there was tremendous prejudice against the Chinese. They were lynched, and because the Chinese were willing to work for lower wages, they were seen as the reason why Americans were suffering so much. So the blame was unfairly placed on the Chinese.
In 1882, Congress signed the Chinese Exclusion Act into law. It banned Chinese from migrating to the U.S. It marks the only time in American history that an entire race or ethnic group was banned from immigrating.
But the interesting thing about this Exclusion Act was that there was actually exemption for Chinese tourists, students, teachers, and also merchants.
A landmark court case in 1915 classified Chinese restaurant owners as merchants.
And it gave them a way to circumvent the Exclusion Act of 1882.
It was this exemption that allowed Jerry's great uncle to open Pekin Noodle Parlor in Butte, paving a path for more family members to immigrate to the U.S. and help the business. Jerry's father, Danny Wong, arrived in the U.S. in 1947 as a teenager.
Ever since he was 14 years old, he's been working at the Pekin Noodle Parlor, and he just started with the simple roles of washing dishes, and then he learned how to cook, and then he slowly just started integrating himself into, managing it and working with the waitresses and the staff.
Danny taking over the restaurant in the 1950s, spending years turning it into a pillar of the local community.
Well, I've been coming here for at least 50 years, and they give me plenty of food. I never walk away hungry.
I love coming to work because of all the people I work with. Like, they choose really nice people. And
my father probably employed over 10,000 people at this, throughout his whole entire life. So it's interesting to know that there's nearly 5 to 6 generations of people that, have worked here.
The menu at Pekin Noodle Parlor hasn't changed much over the years.
we do a thing called chop suey. And what chop suey is tidbits of leftover vegetables that were kind of mixed together in its own gravy and served on top of chow mein noodles. We've been serving it for over 110 years.
Chop suey is in large part why Chinese food became so popular across the United States.
Chop suey was the first time America experienced a culinary craze, a food craze. And it's starting at the end of the 19th century that there are Americans who are venturing into Chinatown. The way they got them to even experiment with Chinese food was to make a stir fry that was actually quite bland. So they used bamboo shoots, water chestnuts, onions, oftentimes there was celery.
For many years, Chinatowns were the only places where non-Chinese Americans could sample Asian flavors.
Americans were going into Chinatown, some were curious, they wanted to experience curio shops, Chinese operas.
With increased tourism, Chinatowns in large cities grew. But it was a different story in Montana. Like many mining towns, Butte lost many of its workers as production slowed in the 1950s.
Once the copper ran dry, then the people just started to pick up and just kind of move on and move back to their families and the bigger states.
As miners left Butte for new opportunities, its Chinatown disappeared. In the early 1900s, there were 7 chop suey restaurants listed in the Butte City Directory. Today, only the Pekin Noodle Parlor remains open.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
To stand on the edge of the cliff and jump takes a lot of guts. We are meeting people one after the next who have made profound changes. I think you're going to be blown away by the life lessons.
Join Hoda for new episodes of her podcast, Making Space. Listen now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. It is good to have you with us.
So delighted we're together.
We're together.
I make Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, see? So this show is for you, my friend.
We got a huge, beautiful crowd.
These days, the news never stops. The morning's headlines change by afternoon, and by the end of the day, it's all totally different. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. I get it. I know that it can be hard to keep up. So let's get started together and go from there.
Hey, I'm Hallie Jackson, and we have a ton going on tonight. Here's the deal.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Jerry Tam runs the Pekin Noodle Parlor in Butte, Montana.
People may know this is the oldest Chinese restaurant in America, but below it is so much history.
Despite Pekin's historic status, Jerry says he was never pressured by family to join the business.
I never learned to cook until I came back in around 2009, because like any Asian American, my parents wanted all of their kids to go to college, so we all went to colleges around the nation and to get a better education, to become a lawyer, a doctor, and what have you. But I went into fashion, and what was great about that is I got to see the world because of it.
In 2004, Jerry even appearing on Bravo's Project Runway. But a few years later, family duty calling him home.
And unfortunately, my mom had a stroke, so my dad needed help, taking care of her and taking care of the restaurant. I think it was really hard on my father because they were in a generation where they loved each other every day, and they were just best friends.
After Jerry's mom passed, Jerry and his dad began operating Pekin together.
He never stopped working, so he was working here all the way until 85, until he couldn't make up the stairs anymore. My father and I spent every day together. I made sure he was healthy all the way till the end, the best of my ability I can do. My father passed in November, and it was really, heartbreaking. He didn't want to say goodbye to my sisters or me or this restaurant or the community. He loved Butte, Montana.
Jerry now runs Pekin Noodle Parlor with his cousin Nelson. Together, they're working to preserve a family legacy and keep a piece of Chinese American history alive in an unlikely place.
I've been asked the question, what is the future of the Pekin? And the best answer I can give you is, let's just keep it the same. Let's not change anything, because that's what people come here for. They need to have their parking spots, they have their booths, they have their favorite place to sit at the bar. I don't think they want any change, because this is a place that feels like home.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. It's good to have you with us.
So delighted we're together.
We're together.
I make Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, see? So this show is for you, my friend.
We got a huge, beautiful crowd.
These days, the news never stops. The morning's headlines change by afternoon, and by the end of the day, it's all totally different. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. I get it. I know that it can be hard to keep up. So let's get started together and go from there.
Hey, I'm Hallie Jackson, and we have a ton going on tonight. Here's the deal.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world, because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
While New York City is home to America's largest Chinatown, the honor of the oldest goes to San Francisco, and that's where the Far East Cafe is located. It is one of the last remaining historic Chinese banquet halls. After a 2-year hiatus, this celebrated venue hosted the 64th annual Miss Chinatown USA pageant, a Lunar New Year tradition. The occasion marking a triumphant milestone for this century-old institution. Bill Lee has owned the Far East Cafe since 1999. His daughter Kathy working by his side as the manager.
He brought me into the restaurant to kind of understand the roots of our culture. He wanted me to remember that, Chinatown is about community, is about traditions, is about culture.
For many in the community, Chinese banquet halls are more than just venues for special events.
I feel that Far East is kind of like a second home for, a lot of our patrons that come in because they feel so comfortable. So much history and so many memories, A lot of patrons that have been here, they've told me, they're like, oh, my parents had my red egg ginger party. It's very similar to like a baptism. And that was like 50 something years ago.
And that history is everywhere you look at Far East.
The ceilings, like my dad mentioned, the high ceilings, the moldings are all original. And the lanterns were all imported from China in the 1920s. So they're over 100 plus years old.
For the last few decades, there were 5 giant banquet-style restaurants in San Francisco's Chinatown. But with rising rents and gentrification, most have since closed their doors. By early 2020, only 2 banquet halls remained.
The Far East Cafe planned to celebrate its 100-year anniversary with a big celebration. Instead, it's now planning to close its doors.
At the start of the pandemic, the restaurant stayed afloat by cooking meals for senior citizens and low-income residents in Chinatown.
We applied for a PPP loan, and we got over $200,000. We also received money from the feed and fuel program. Then our landlord gave us 6 months of free rent.
Beyond COVID, a different type of virus brought more harm to Chinatowns across the country. Anti-Asian hate crimes soaring by nearly 340% in 2021.
When this started happening, I felt very, very sad and also very angry because I'm like, why is this happening to Chinatown? Why is it happening to our community? You know, for these people to target elderly people, to push them down, to rob them, don't they realize that they have grandparents too, or they have parents that are that age? And if that happened to their parents, how would they feel?
People saw the attacks when they watched the news and heard reports, and they got even more scared. They don't want to go out, even for special events like the Mid-Autumn Festival. We tried to invite them, but they didn't want to come.
We used to be open until 10 o'clock before pandemic. Sometimes we would stay out here until midnight if we had events. Now, we can't do that. We changed the business hours to close at 7:30, because safety is the most important thing.
Business owners across Chinatown still face hostility. George and Cindy Chen opened China Live in 2017.
We've been lucky. We've only had a couple instances where, people scream anti-Asian slurs. And we're concerned about our employees, coming to work and being harassed. I think that ignorance is very unfortunate.
China Live is a massive marketplace with multiple restaurants. It's in a building that once housed a banquet hall like Far East.
I remember coming to a wedding here when I was in college, and there were, I think literally 5,000 people in like 6 restaurants. But unfortunately, real estate was getting very expensive, so it's not very cost effective if you don't have that business.
But 2 years ago, the couple had to lay off 200 workers. However, with the support of partners, George and Cindy were able to pivot their business on a few fronts.
We did, the Ghost Kitchen was selling outside our box. So we have 10 locations in the Bay Area, from San Jose to Berkeley, and they can order food from those ghost kitchens.
Ghost kitchens prepare restaurant-quality food exclusively for delivery or takeout.
We sold so many Peking ducks, we didn't know what to do with all the duck fat. So what do? You make popcorn with it. So that's why we have a duck fat popcorn.
As business picked up, China Live was able to rehire 100 workers. Despite an uncertain future, these restaurants remain hopeful that business will rebound.
More police presence. People are more, as a community, standing up for ourselves, making sure that we have the buddy system, making sure that we're together and we feel safe, that we're walking together, that we have each other's back.
Dining out is an essential part of life, right? What more fun is to look forward to having dinner with friends you haven't seen at a new place or an old favorite place.
But some old favorites just can't be replaced.
During the pandemic, many restaurants have shut down. Far East is now the biggest restaurant in Chinatown. If Far East closes, there won't be space big enough to host large events for the community.
We were overjoyed having that Miss Chinatown USA event here, a press conference, and just being able to reconnect with the community. It warmed my heart. And my dad was just so overjoyed that people were coming in just to celebrate.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversation about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Can this still end diplomatically with Vladimir Putin in charge of Russia? There's a Supreme Court nominee. What would it take for you to vote to confirm her? So I guess the question is, can this end with sanctions alone? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversation about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
To learn more about the future of Chinese American restaurants, I went to visit Chef Lucas Sin in New York City. This savvy chef is on a mission to save mom and pop shops from closing and putting a spin on the classics. Hey, nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
All right, can't wait to talk and taste.
Come in here.
Lucas was born and raised in Hong Kong. Growing up, he had never heard of dishes like General Tso's chicken. What was your first experience with Chinese American food?
Yeah.
And did you go, what the heck is this?
I was here for summer camp, and on Tuesdays, at 10 o'clock or so, right before bedtime, this van would pull up in the front of the school, and you could pick between sesame chicken, General Tso's chicken, orange chicken with broccoli and fried rice or white rice or whatever it was. The first thought was that this is ridiculously delicious, whereas it's been my whole life. And the second thought is that what in the world is the difference between orange chicken and General Tso's chicken and sesame chicken? Why is there so much that I don't understand about this if last time I checked it was Chinese?
Lucas actually studied cognitive science at Yale, but he always had a passion for cooking. His summers spent training in award-winning restaurants in Hong Kong and Japan. After graduating in 2015, Lucas opened his first restaurant with Yale classmate Yang Zhao. Junzi Kitchen is a fast casual chain that serves modern Chinese fare. But Lucas remained passionate about the Chinese American cuisine he first tasted as a boy. So how did Chinese American food, the food that we have become familiar with, how did that develop? How did that happen?
Now, Chinese takeout is interesting, right? Because it's all over the United States.
So these folks come in, they apprentice in a restaurant, they learn those recipes, and
they
then
go
move
somewhere
on
else, right?
To open their own
exactly.
restaurant.
And then their cousins come from Fujian, and then those recipes are passed on. And there's a remarkable similarity to these dishes.
Despite the popularity of Chinese American food, many family-owned restaurants that once dotted Chinatowns and other urban areas have been closing for years.
Opening restaurants is really difficult, and running restaurants is perhaps even more difficult. These moms and dads open these restaurants so that their kids can go to university and become lawyers and doctors and television hosts and whatnot. And now they're finally able to do that. They don't need to run these restaurants anymore, right? Suddenly livelihoods have changed. That's a good thing.
Lucas and Young hatched an idea to help smaller businesses in 2019. Nice Day seeks out restaurants facing closure, then works with the owners to remodel the space and update the menus. The pandemic stalled the team's initial plans, but the second location in Long Island is slated to open this spring.
It's important to me that these new Chinese American takeout restaurants that we're building called Nice Day work with the previous generation of owners, because they have a lot of knowledge that we don't. They know their customers, they know what sells, they know how to cook these dishes, they have recipes.
You raise an interesting point, Lucas, in that you talk to these retired Chinese restaurant owners. Is that part of the sense of trying to memorialize what could be lost?
Now, preserving recipes is part of it, but the other important part is preserving the way business is done. Chinese takeout restaurants are one of the few restaurants in the world that if they're open from, let's say, 11 to 10, the work hours are 11 to 10. They don't have any prep hours. The same cooks that do the wok stir fries are also prepping during the day. It's ridiculously efficient, and it's got to do with the setup and the way that the kitchens are run, but it's also important to us that we give back to this last generation and that we can make sure that owners who want to retire can retire well, and that legacy can be preserved in a new type of American Chinese takeout restaurant.
While Nice Day pays homage to popular Chinese-American recipes, Lucas has been celebrated for his innovative fusion dishes. In 2021, he was named one of Food and Wine's best new chefs.
We serve a mapo mac and cheese here, which is a variation on that dish. It's fusion-y and it's silly and it's just an attempt to do something ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. It betrays every chef sensibility that I have, but unfortunately it's delicious and it's interesting and it gets people talking.
Finally, it's time to eat. Lucas showing me how to make his signature dish. How do we get started?
So the mapo mac and cheese, the mac and the cheese elements are rigorously American. This is elbow macaroni,
right?
Cooked halfway. And this is Velveeta. But the mapo element is going to be in the form of a mapo sauce, if you will. The last two elements that really sort of take this over the edge is Chinese sausage.
Oh.
It can function like bacon, and some dried shiitake mushrooms that we've rehydrated. So to start off with, we're just going to cut a couple of things. And this tofu we will then put into the deep fryer.
This concludes the chopping portion of our program. Next, garlic and ginger are cooked till fragrant. Then, spicy bean paste and soybean paste are added to start the sauce. Mushroom broth is added, the mixture brought to a boil so the flavors infuse. Can I give that a try?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, here you go. So your left hand's on the wok? Yeah.
Yes. I can't get any altitude on this thing. Nothing's coming up. That's why the pros do it, baby.
At this point, everything's smelling quite good. So the macaroni is going to go in, as well as the soup we just made. Once it's boiling and happy, 2 slices of the best
Velveeta.
Velveeta American cheese. Wait for that Velveeta to melt. And you'll see that sauce is already beautifully tied together. We like to plate this dish in the Chinese takeout box.
Oh, wow.
Because it's silly.
Well, why not? It's fun. Boom.
Some fried tofu puffs as croutons go over the top. That's a little bit of texture and the homage to the original mapo tofu. These fresh scallions are actually really important because they cut through the heaviness of the original dish.
Wow. Just a little spice, the creaminess, the crunch of the tofu.
I hope you get a little bit of the Chinese sausage, yeah.
Whoa, you've never had mac and cheese like this. Amid a global pandemic, changing family dynamics, and anti-Asian racism, Chinatowns across America and the communities that sustain them face a challenging road ahead.
Every business that is open right now is still fighting for its life. And I think that the best way to fight the anti-Asian hate is to show our love for the community. Come to Chinatown or your local Asian American Pacific Islander restaurant, store, market, give them your business. We have lost so much during the pandemic, and I think it makes us all so much more conscious that we have to protect what we love.
What's happening, everybody? You have tuned into a very special edition of Popstar Plus today. It's our Oscars preview. Over the next hour, we're going to bring you everything you're going to need to know about this year's Academy Awards ceremony. We've got some great stuff. Interviews with nominees, including some of the categories that you might not know that much about. We spoke to some very talented artists who bring magic to the silver screen and are nominated in categories like cinematography, makeup design, production design, and costume design. A lot of great things to get to. Let's dive right in. First up, one of the nominees for Best Picture, Don't Look Up. This comedy explores what happens as a highly destructive comet approaches Earth. Our own Savannah Guthrie spoke with stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence and director Adam McKay.
So how certain is this?
There's 100%
certainty of impact.
Please, don't say 100%.
Can we just call it a potentially significant event?
Yeah.
Yes.
A massive fireball speeding towards Earth, promising to obliterate the planet.
You guys discovered a comet?
Comedy isn't exactly what comes to mind, but the new film, Don't Look Up, from Oscar-winning writer and director Adam McKay, is counting on laughter to focus audiences on a deadly serious matter.
This is kind of the feel-good, feel-bad movie of the year. How did you pull that off?
It's a pretty good description. We made this movie during the pandemic, before there was even a vaccine. So I think we were all in the mood to laugh because things were so grim. But at the same time, we needed to feel some other feelings as well.
Put the moment of impact on a diet app. So impact is when my diet ends.
Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence lead a star-studded cast as two astronomers trying to sound the alarm on the comet that will soon wipe out the world. A not-so-subtle allegory for a real threat, climate change.
After seeing the movie last night, something kind of resonated in me. It's how we process bad news and how it becomes a debate, how truth and facts can be distorted or politicized. This was originally, a metaphor for the climate crisis, and then COVID hit, and then a whole new wave of the denial of science. It was amazing to witness what was going on in real time as we were making this movie. I mean, we were sitting there trying to explain science as Fauci was doing the same thing. It was a bizarre experience.
You've said, Leo, you feel like it cracks the code. You also said yesterday, I think, that you were a little bit of a Debbie Downer on this issue. I mean, it's hard not to feel a little bit hopeless.
If you do a film about climate change, it's nearly impossible to get people to get a sense of urgency and hold a mirror to our culture and media and politics and all of these things. And I just felt like this was an incredible gift to be a part of a movie that encapsulated exactly what we're going through at this particular moment in time. But yeah, I am a bit of a Debbie Downer because the clock is absolutely ticking.
How big is this thing going? Can it destroy my ex-wife's house? Is that possible?
There's a 100% chance that we're all going to die. Jennifer, your role is the first who gets to really just say, this is insanity. Did that just feel great?
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of unleashing that helplessness that I feel as a citizen and a human on the planet. It was also so poignant that all of the ire kind of landed squarely on her shoulders because she was saying something that people didn't want to hear.
During filming, before she was pregnant, Lawrence took her approach of getting into character to a new high.
Before the movie started, there was a lot more in the script. Kate DiBiase was high pretty much the whole time. We thought if there was a scene where I wasn't talking, it could be funny to actually just see that kind of just glassy stare.
There was one scene where she definitely was like, am I going to speak tonight? I was like, no, you're not. She's like, I'm going to try it because it does fit the character. And the whole night, I was so tempted to go on the mic and say, hey, let's improvise a monologue. And I realized how mean it would be, and I did not do it.
Thank you for not doing it.
Out of love and respect for Miss Lawrence.
Thank you for not, yeah.
Yeah. It would have been just
oh my God.
Sobering.
Oh, I would have, yeah, sobering.
And she was next to Meryl Streep.
I was next to Meryl Streep.
What was it like to be with Meryl Streep? Because I know she's an idol of everyone's.
Her improvisation was incredible too. Shooting this during COVID and having the mind of Adam McKay sort of speak through a loudspeaker. And we were this sort of nerdy scientists just trying to react to this onslaught of different directions that the scenes would go at any given time because he really created an atmosphere where anything goes. Not a lot of rehearsal, just get into the room and go at it. And of course, Meryl was incredible to work with.
There will be magnitude 10 or 11 earthquakes.
You're breathing weird. It's making me uncomfortable.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to articulate the science.
I know, but it's so stressful.
I heard Jonah Hill ad-libbed a lot of those lines.
Oh yeah.
There was one day that was just solely dedicated to him insulting me.
I'm sorry, who is she?
Are you her son?
I'm chief of staff boy with the dragon tattoo, so I'm doing fine.
And that was tough, but it was one of the greatest days of my life.
I heard you inhaled your nose ring a few
Yeah,
times.
the stud was a magnet, and poor Leo had to witness a couple times of me making eye contact with you while it got it out of my throat.
Yeah, it did happen a couple times, didn't it? And I never understood what the hell was going on.
You had the premiere. How did the ending go over? I'm not giving anything away, because you'll kill me.
I think it was incredibly emotional, and, you know, had this movie had a different ending, it wouldn't be the story that it is, and we're not going to give that away, but it needed to have this ending. It's a wake-up call. It's an alarm clock. And,
It's not a Hollywood ending.
No, it's not. If it didn't have that ending, there was no way we were going to be a part of it.
It's remarkable how that film explores such a serious topic in such a funny way. All right, coming up next, another Best Picture nominee. Take a look at our interview with director Kenneth Branagh about his film Belfast, which is loosely based on his own childhood in Northern Ireland.
This morning, we are catching up with Oscar-nominated actor, writer, and director Kenneth Branagh. He showed us his military prowess, playing the title character in Henry V, and took on the iconic detective Hercule Poirot in Murder on the Orient Express.
Well, now Kenneth wrote, produced, and directed the Oscar-nominated film Belfast, loosely based on his time growing up in Northern Ireland.
Here's a look at the young protagonist, Buddy, talking about his feelings for a girl with his grandparents. Watch.
Anyways, I think she loves that other fella.
I don't know that for sure. Women are very mysterious.
And women can smash your face in two, mister.
Your granny's become less mysterious over the years. So, you really like her?
When I grow up, I want to marry her.
Yeah, sounds like you really like her.
Definitely not COVID safe.
That was I guess that's where all the best conversations are had, right? Yeah. So, Kenneth, it's awesome to have you here on the Plaza, and I just want to bask in your aura.
I agree.
I mean, everything you touch is gold, whether you're directing it, producing it, in it. I mean, how do you take it all in, especially when this movie is loosely based on your life and people are obsessed with it?
Well, thank you. It's a bit overwhelming. It's a very beautiful moment to have because it is based on a lot of experiences I had as a kid, including falling in love with movies that came from this country. Mm-hmm. So when you end up and you look at the film and you see a kid watching movies from Hollywood and you end up here, you know, heading towards the Academy Awards with 7 nominations for a bunch of work, or an amazing bunch of people. It's surreal. But the thing that is really beautiful is it seems to touch people in the heart. It is written from the heart, and that's a lovely thing.
It really has resonated with people, and obviously, as you mentioned, the Oscar nominations being rewarded that way. 7 Oscar nominations, and you setting a record for the most number of Oscar nominations, 7 for a male in different categories. Yeah. So, did you know that you were in contention for that?
No, you definitely don't join for any of that kind of thing, because that way madness lies, and it's amazing, absolutely amazing to me. But it reminds me of the great privilege you have of being a storyteller from different parts of the kind of creative equation. Whether I act, obviously, but in this I get to direct a beautiful kid who plays in a 9-year-old version of me, if you like, and he's an amazing natural young Jude Hill. And then we've got at the other end of the scale Dame Judi Dench.
Well, I was going to ask you, I mean, the cast is incredible. We have Ciarán Hinds, Dame Judi Dench, both of whom received Best Supporting Actor nominations. Jamie Dornan, Katrina Balfe, the newcomer Jude Hill, who they say steals every scene. Yeah. I mean, what is that like when you have such an all-star cast?
Well, I mean, when we saw the Screen Actors Guild rewarded them with an ensemble nomination, which for me was the proof of the pudding, that the kind of connective thing between them. The weird side effect of COVID was that family, that on-screen family, became very bonded in their cast bubble immediately because they had no choice but to get on and perhaps form relationships sooner and quicker and more meaningfully, and it comes across. I think the audience always intuit this, and I think that feeling of a real family, an identification with what a lot of families have to deal with in terms of decisions in their own lives, big ones for them, simple when you look at it from the outside, are really caught beautifully by this group of performances. I'm very proud of them.
What an impressive guy. All right, guys, we're just getting started here on our Popstar Plus Oscars preview. Coming up after the break, we're going to dive into our next Best Picture nominee, Licorice Pizza.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. It is good to have you with us.
So delighted we're together.
We're together.
I make Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, see? So this show is for you, my friend. We
got a huge, beautiful crowd.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. It's good to have you with us.
So delighted we're together.
We're together.
I make Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, see? So this show is for you, my friend.
We got a huge, beautiful crowd.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this?
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Can this still end diplomatically with Vladimir Putin in charge of Russia? There's a Supreme Court nominee. What would it take for you to vote to confirm her? So I guess the question is, can this end with sanctions alone? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. It's good to have you with us.
So delighted we're together.
We're together.
I make Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, see? So this show is for you, my friend.
We got a huge, beautiful crowd.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this?
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back to our Pop Start Plus Oscars preview. Alana Hayim made her acting debut in the Oscar-nominated film Licorice Pizza. Here's the conversation that she had with Willie and Jenna about that part.
Since 2007, Alana Hayim has been making music and performing all over the world with her sisters in the Grammy-nominated band Hayim. Now she's making waves in Hollywood, starring in a role that was written just for her.
In fact, believe it or not, it was Alana's acting debut in the Oscar-nominated film Licorice Pizza. Here's a look.
What's your future look like?
I don't know.
How do you like working at Tiny Toes?
I hate working at Tiny Toes.
You should start your own business.
What business should I be in?
I don't know. What do you like?
I don't know.
You're an actress. You should be an actress.
And we could say that to you, Alana. You're an actress.
You are an actress. You guys.
Let's say, what a way to make your acting debut. Paul Thomas Anderson says, I wrote a movie for you. I know you've never acted before, but you're going to star in it and effectively carry this movie. What did you think when you heard that?
I was mind blown. I mean, I say it all the time, but I'm a Sagittarius, so like...
Me too.
You're a Sagittarius?
Yes, I'm a Sagittarius.
December 15th.
November 25th.
Oh, you're early Sag.
Yes. I don't know what that means.
No, it's good. It's good. Right? We're all great. We're Sagittarius.
Yeah.
We think that we're the best. But we're like always up for new adventures. So like when he introduced this movie and said, I wrote this part for you, would you want to play Alana? I immediately said yes, and then went to bed and like tried to go to sleep, and then immediately like opened my eyes and was like, oh gosh, what did I get myself into? But it was so fun.
Well, and not only that, but we have Bradley Cooper,
Yes.
when Billy's
Good man.
BFFs.
Good man.
We have Sean Penn, and it's a movie that's about where you're from.
Yes.
Which is a place you love. So
yes,
that must
it kind of feels like we're there right now.
I know, that's the
You guys,
idea.
we're
Yeah.
back in my home. We're back in my home.
Was that also super cool to be able to like show this place that raised you?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I love the Valley. I feel like the Valley gets a bad rep because of the 80s with, you know, the Valley Girl, the for sure, and the mall culture. But I mean, which I am that person, and I am proud of it. But I feel like growing up in the Valley, like people thought that you were uncool. So if you're a Valley kid, you're like, okay, if everyone thinks I'm uncool, I'm gonna own it. And I love being uncool. And whenever you find a Valley kid on your travels, you immediately are bonded.
Well, you guys, you and your sisters have been in the music world for a long time, doing incredibly well, and now you're at the center of the Hollywood. You're going to be walking the red carpet at the Oscars. Oscar nominee. So to come right out of the box like this, what is that experience experience been like for you?
I really hope I don't trip. That's really like what I'm hoping that I don't do. I mean, it's been incredible. I mean, when we were making the movie, we didn't think about anything like that. We were just trying to make something that we loved, and every day we showed up to set so happy. I didn't want to leave, and it was such an incredible experience. I still can't even believe I'm sitting here talking to you guys, talking about Licorice Pizza. I mean, it's wild. It's very wild.
So what about when you were young and you were in the family band, which is kind of my dream for my little children, to create some sort of family band.
You should.
Rocking Chaim.
Yes.
So when you just, look, first of all, well, your parents.
Oh my God, that's so embarrassing. That is me and my siblings. Wow. Oh my God, Esty, my eldest sister, is going to die that this is on television right now.
You were in this band with your parents, which I wish we had like a group photo.
I know. Oh my God.
Well, there's
go.
y'all now. But when you decided, like, okay, we're going to actually go out and be huge rock stars on our own, like, I can imagine that conversation sitting at the kitchen table.
It was
being
a
like,
lot like this. A lot like this. Me and my siblings sat in 3 chairs. We set up 2 chairs for my parents. No, I mean, I think that with Rockenheim, I mean, I was so young, we were only playing covers. It started when I was 4 years old. We would only play like delis and like country fairs and street fairs. Like, it was nothing. It was not the big time. A lot of Billy Joel, a lot of, you know, Rolling Stones. It was cool. We were cool. We were terrible, but we were cool. But yeah, in 2007, me and my siblings decided, like, maybe we should play music together because we had been playing for so long, and it worked.
That famous deli circuit in the valley.
Oh yeah, it's a
Launches
hot
stars.
ticket. We got paid in matzo ball soup. That was like our claim to fame.
Worth it.
Really cool to see Ilana acting, not just singing. All right, we've got some great stuff coming up. The Power of the Dog has, count them, 12 nominations. That is the most of any film this year. And we spoke to the film's production designer about just how they were able to create that cool 1920s setting.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Can this still end diplomatically with Vladimir Putin in charge of Russia? There's a Supreme Court nominee. What would it take for you to vote to confirm her? So I guess the question is, can this end with sanctions alone? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Time to give yourself an entire body reset. Let's go.
The new approach to saving our planet. Simple life swaps, great for the environment.
This is quite the spring break crowd.
These days, the news never stops. The morning's headlines change by afternoon, and by the end of the day, it's all totally different. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. I get it. I know that it can be hard to keep up. So let's get started together and go from there.
Hey, I'm Hallie Jackson, and we have a ton going on tonight. Here's the deal.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Can this still end diplomatically with Vladimir Putin in charge of Russia? There's a Supreme Court nominee. What would it take for you to vote to confirm her? So I guess the question is, can this end with sanctions alone? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
And we're back continuing our Popstar Plus Oscars preview. Now, if you've seen the Western, The Power of the Dog, you'll recognize the arid Montana landscapes. And we learned from the great Grant Major, that's the film's Oscar-nominated production designer, about all this behind-the-scenes work that was needed to create the look and feel of exactly what you see on screen.
As a production designer, my responsibilities are to create the time and the place within which the drama takes place. On The Power of the Dog, our story starts in 1925 in the state of Montana. I then have to really cater and tailor everything that I do to bolster the narrative, the storytelling. Power of the Dog is based on a book by Thomas Savage that was written in the 1960s and involves a family of two brothers who run a cattle ranch. We shot in New Zealand, so it was incumbent on us to be able to find a location that would play for Montana. I'm hoping that the New Zealandness of it sort of diminishes somewhat, because it's the story set in Montana, and we should believe it to be so in Montana. The valley itself, the Ida Valley, was very much a place that time forgot in many ways, because it's quite a long time ago, the 20s, 100 years ago almost. And we're looking for a place that didn't have modern farm buildings and other agricultural accoutrements. So we're very lucky to be able to find this place that was very sort of pared back. It was already a cattle ranch, but it also had a lot of the grasses that we were looking for. I did have to spend a lot of time trying to knock back the greenness of the grass and make it feel more arid, to sort of reduce the colour palette quite a lot, because New Zealand is very green normally. We're also able to use the cattle that was on the ranch, and there was very little else there. We built everything. We built the house, we built the cattle yards, and the barn, and the cowboys' quarters, and all these sorts of other elements of the script. So it was really nice to be able to start with an empty canvas and build everything from the ground up. Jane Campion and I had come across each other 30 years ago there, and I was very impressed by her personal style and professionalism, and we did a lot of workshopping in our own way to be able to talk about our creative process, our way of going about making something real, because we start off with words in a script. We did need to build the house as a 360-degree building. So, we did need to shoot all the way around the building, and we needed to shoot inside the location, front doors and inside the windows. We also built the areas of the kitchen and around what we call the cowboys' dining area, so that they all had a direct relationship to the location that we could see out through the windows. The frames within frames were something that we're really trying to bring in here, because it's something about looking out through the wilderness and looking in through those windows. That the observational kind of aspect of that was kind of a nice sort of sub-theme in a way. Perhaps the most challenging was, it wasn't just the sets that we were doing the whole environment. So a lot of the work we did subsequent to building it was all the aging processes, which were just endless amounts of paint washes and texture washes and paring it back and putting in the lichen and the mosses and all that sort of stuff for the outside of the sets. The same goes for the inside sets that we built in the stages in Auckland. Put a lot of work into the patinas of the walls, and just to give them a feeling of an old life here, and a very masculine, sort of leathery kind of feel to everything. Believe me, I had a very talented group of scenic artists, and of course the set decorators and the crew were just so enthusiastic about this film. It was like it had stardust all over it in the beginning. I reckon this thing was like a perfect proportion and a perfect script. A perfect group of people came together to make it. I am so proud to be part of the Power of the Dog phenomenon in a way. That it garnered so many nominations.
It's so interesting to learn about all these processes that are happening behind the scenes to create those cool visuals. We've got a lot more behind the scenes insight to share with you. Sci-fi fan favorite Dune's up for 10 Oscars. One is for the category of cinematography, thanks to nominee Greg Fraser. Here's what he hopes to convey through the lens of his camera.
My greatest goal as a cinematographer generally is to not have people know that I had done a job on the film. So it's a bit of a tricky one, because of course everything that you see on screen is lensed through my camera and my team's camera. Dune is set many years in the future. It is a time when humans have evolved to the point where they're able to do away with computers effectively. So this is my first film with Denis. The major thing that I took away from my first meeting with Denis was his passion for the material. He read this book when he was a teenager and has stayed with him all those years whilst he's been learning his craft of filmmaking. And the way I approached it was effectively by seeing the world through Denis' eyes. I've very much wanted to optimize the emotional quality of the light that we shot. Since becoming a cinematographer, and before that I was a photographer, so effectively I've been studying light now for 20 plus years. I'm very much trying to emotionally tap into what light does for us as humans. So it was trying to run that line of subtlety, yet the fact that the light really is a character, because you need to make sure that when you're inside the household, that you were aware of the fact that you should not be outside. Like, that was always a difficult, tricky place to be. So I wanted to make sure that the audience felt that at all the time, or they had at least the underlying feeling that it wasn't always at the fore, but it sort of allowed the backbone of the characters to understand where they were. We always made sure that we were primarily basing our decisions on character, regardless of what those decisions ended up being and who the characters might have been. So we wanted to try and make these characters relatable to the audience. And part of that, I think, is the way that we cover them. You know, we want to make sure that as a camera, we're close to them, but we're not so close with them in their face, or we're not so far back that we're not filming them on longer lenses. Because again, lenses, I think, have an emotional bent too. If the lens is too long, lens is too wide, we start to feel something different. And Denis and I were quite adamant about making sure that our lenses sort of sat within their space, but they weren't too aggressive in being too close to them. We played a lot with scale in this film. You know, these sand dunes that they were, you know, running up and running down. These are sand dunes, for example, in Abu Dhabi that you ordinarily wouldn't see. You wouldn't go to the local beach and see a sand mound that's 17 stories high. And so we wanted to make sure that the audience saw and felt the scale of those things. And that's where I found it exciting visually, putting our characters in the middle of these sand dunes, like there are massive waves that were ready just to consume them. We loosen the camera, I think, by often going handheld. You know, that is a pretty fast way to kind of lead the audience into a belief that the world is a little less rigid. But also what that did is it allowed us, when we wanted to do shots that were very controlled, very focused and very steady. You know, what I do hope comes across in this film cinematographically is the relationship with the characters and the characters' relationship with nature. You know, I hope that we've managed to capture the characters as they were intended to be seen by, you know, originally by Frank Herbert and Denis as a director, but also by our actors. You know, I hope that I've done justice to our actors and made them feel like their performances have been properly captured and recorded. You know, winning an Oscar is great if that ever so happens, but to me, I think the biggest thing is the recognition of our individual work on a great big film like Dune is.
Man, those shots in Dune are just epic. Coming up next, we're exploring the makeup and costumes featured at this year's Oscars with two acclaimed designers. Stay with us.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversation about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
These days, the news never stops. The morning's headlines change by afternoon, and by the end of the day, it's all totally different. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. I get it. I know that it can be hard to keep up. So let's get started together and go from there.
Hey, I'm Hallie Jackson, and we have a ton going on tonight. Here's the deal.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Can this still end diplomatically with Vladimir Putin in charge of Russia? There's a Supreme Court nominee. What would it take for you to vote to confirm her? So I guess the question is, can this end with sanctions alone? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
And welcome back. You've tuned into our very special Oscars preview. We're going to dive right into some costumes now. There's so many good ones in films that were out. Paul Tazewell is the brains behind the costumes that you see in the new film version of West Side Story. He's nominated for an Oscar for his work. And we spoke to him about what it was like working with the legendary Steven Spielberg on his reimagining of the classic musical.
The way that I approach my work, it's telling the story and being a support of the story from the standpoint of clothing and how the characters might choose their clothing for a specific scene or moment. I see my work as a very powerful part of the creative process for the director, for the actors, and then how it plays with the presentation overall and how the audience engages with it. When I was asked by Steven to design West Side Story, I was very aware that West Side Story, the original Broadway production, was done in 1957. So it was important for Steven to recreate the world of 1957 New York City, then everything that was going on, in that time. The way that I created the contrast of the Caucasian community, as it relates to the Jets, and then the Sharp community as it relates to the Latinx community. For the Jets, the film opens up where they are essentially in their playground. So with the Jets, I work to keep them in cool tones and a lot of blues and greens and grays, and some of that was influenced by my use of denim, thinking about jeans and how American jeans have become actually in our modern culture versus the Puerto Rican community or the Sharps, where they are, they're in more warm tones, and warm tones that, kind of dip into where they've come from, the tropical colors that they've come from. I knew that the purple dress that Rita Moreno wore in the original film, and also Chita Rivera in the original Broadway show, it was going to be important to find a look for Anita, played by Ariana DeBose, that would feel as iconic as that dress could be. So as I was choosing colors, and choosing colors surrounding her, and choosing, patterns that would surround her as well, because there's a lot of floral prints that I use within that as well. Again, to be reflective of the tropical island that they had come from and that they're even singing about. One of the original things that Steven Spielberg asked me to do when he was asking me to design the show was that he wanted for the white dress for Maria to stay part of the design. I loved that idea because, it speaks to her innocence. It also speaks to culturally to where she's coming from and her connection to the Catholic Church and the potentially feeling oppressed by that, that kind of pressure, where she is as a young woman trying to evolve and grow and expand and really be, embrace this new space that she's in. Part of the white dress and that look for Maria is the red belt. And, Steven, again, was very smart in having Anita take the belt off of her outfit that she had planned for the Dance to the Gym and handing it over to Maria, really as a, it's a metaphor for, kind of ushering her into womanhood and that kind of positive energy, that kind of sisterhood. Been dealing with race issues in America, and it's our most American social battle. So I think that with what has transpired, what all of us have experienced in the last 2 years, definitely it speaks to that, and it speaks to just the question of what does it take to come together. Having a musical that can be filled with joy and positive energy and excitement, and it holds both. West Side Story has these huge numbers, beautiful music, and so I think that we need something that we can embrace and feel good about, and I think that West Side Story provides that.
You can just see the richness and all the attention to detail when you watch that. It's always so cool hearing from people like Paul. All right, now let's turn to another story being told at this year's Oscars. In the film, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Jessica Chastain plays evangelical talk show host Tammy Faye. Now, Linda Dowds is nominated for her makeup design in the film, and she says she worked really hard to portray Tammy Faye as authentically as possible through the makeup that Tammy Faye actually wore, and we know she wore a lot.
As a makeup designer, I think that our key responsibility is to support the performance by an actor. And then I think there's an additional responsibility when you are looking to create a real life character, and that involves a lot of research and trying to be as authentic as possible to the appearance of that person, which was the case of Tammy Faye. Tammy Faye and her husband, Jim Baker, were real-life televangelists, and they had a very large fall from grace.
Tammy and I are undergoing the most vicious attacks.
Serving God don't feel like it should be a money-making opportunity.
And through my research, listening to the old PTL recordings and Tammy herself in all her interviews, and what I discovered was that I really believe I had a misconception of who she was. I found her to be an incredibly empathetic, actually really beautiful human being. She exuded, I think, the real tenets of being a good person. She taught tolerance and acceptance, and being authentic to yourself and being the best person that you can be. And that authenticity became super important. And we wanted to convey that. Some of the steps that we went through to portray Tammy Faye as authentically as we could, it was such a team effort. We had Justin Raleigh and his team from Fractured Effects who did the prosthetics. Stephanie Ingram did hair, Mitchell Travers did costume, and then myself doing the beauty side of things. One could not have moved forward properly without the other. So I think that was a really key element. And then Tammy Faye told us a lot about herself in her interviews, and you just had to look at her. She was very well put together. Everything matched and coordinated. She loved shopping at drugstores and Target. She loved pinks. And we had sort of three major stages. So there was a very young stage of Tammy Faye where she was at Bible college, and she created a little bit of a ruffle then because she did wear a little bit of makeup. I think that's where we first saw her love of it. And then we have a period where sort of that middle ground where we see her on the Christian Broadcast Network, we see her on PTL, and there's a lot of color and everything was that true matchy-matchy. We saw the brighter colors. We saw violets and blues and pinks. And then as she grew older and as she hit sort of that last phase, we saw, I think the tones all changed. Everything got a little deeper. They got into plums and purples and deeper tones, and their wigs got darker and her costumes got darker. She was into more reds and blacks. And then of course there's the aging process, which was reflected in the prosthetic pieces. So I think those three stages, we kind of defined those stages very specifically, which also helped us move through the transition of, almost, basically 3.5 decades of what Tammy Faye looked like.
Okay, do you want a little remover? Oh no, that's it. That'd be all, they're permanently lined. Oh. And my eyes are permanently lined and my eyebrows are permanently on, so there's not a whole lot you can do.
My goodness, I didn't know. Have you never done pictures without those eyelashes?
Nope, and I never will, because that's my trademark. And if I take that away, then it's not me. And no one's gonna wanna look at me without my trademark, so I hold on to that.
doing something like this, it does involve a lot of research. And she often talked about some of the brands she used. For example, she used L'Oreal Lash Out. That was her choice of mascara. And she used a lot of drugstore brands. And a lot of those colors, funny enough, particularly those little quads that you see that L'Oreal and Revlon and Maybelline all put out, those colors have pretty much maintained a lot of the same sort of tones. So I bought those. So it only helped show the true look of what it was. So I think that research is super important. So Jessica and I, we have worked together for quite a number of years now. We're currently working on our 16th project together, which is a mini series about George Jones and Tammy Wynette. And I think the lovely thing for us is, I mean, Jess is an amazing collaborator. So for me, I find it really great that she is really supportive of the whole process and recognizes that there are all of these elements that we need to pull together. And she's a really great active participant in the choice making of developing the character. It is a joy to work with somebody who is engaged in what we do and has a love of what we do, you know, that I feel, because I love my job. And so to be honored in this way, like I actually can't quite believe it. However it all falls, this is brilliant. And I'm really happy with every element of it as it stands right now.
Gosh, the research and planning that goes into each of these films is absolutely remarkable. It's fun to dive behind the scenes here. All right, we've got a lot more to come up for you. Still, we're going to bring you all the potential history-making moments to look for at this year's Oscars.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Hey, who's this? What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this closet.
I took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world, because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Making Space, the inspirational podcast from Hoda Kotb. Listen now.
To stand on the edge of the cliff and jump takes a lot of guts.
If I never got to sing another song, I would still feel the joy that I feel right now.
We are meeting people one after the next who have made profound changes.
It's the little moments that are the transforming moments.
Oh my gosh, I never thought of that. Oh my gosh, I could apply that. I want to stop for a second. In season 2, I think you're going to be blown away by the life lessons.
Join Hoda for new episodes of her podcast, Making Space. Listen now.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back to our Popstar Plus Oscars preview. A few winners at this year's ceremony could make history on a lot of different fronts. Here's Turner Classic Movies host Dave Karger breaking down what you might expect.
The Oscars have already made a lot of history this year with the nominations that came out. They can make even more history with the winners at the end of the month. Here's how. First up in the acting categories is something really fun. For the first time ever, there are 2 couples nominated in all 4 of the acting categories. So in lead actor and actress, Javier Bardem for Being the Ricardos and Penelope Cruz for Parallel Mothers are nominated. And in the supporting categories, Jesse Plemons and Kirsten Dunst, who are co-stars as well in The Power of the Dog, they were both nominated. Married couples have been nominated before at the Oscars, but never in all 4 acting categories. So that's kind of cool. Also in the Best Actress category, if Kristen Stewart wins Best Actress for her performance as Princess Diana in Spencer, she would be the first person ever to win a lead actor Oscar without being nominated for the SAG Awards or the British Academy or BAFTA Awards. This is majorly significant because there's a lot of overlap between the voting body of the Oscars and the voting body of the SAG and BAFTA Awards. So it's very rare for someone to win an Oscar without also at least getting nominated. It has happened a couple times in the supporting actress category. Marsha Gay Harden won without a SAG or BAFTA nomination. Regina King won without a SAG or BAFTA nomination, but it's never happened in the history of the SAG Awards, which is 27 years, that someone has won a lead acting Oscar without a SAG or BAFTA nomination. In the Best Supporting Actor category, Troy Kotsur from Coda has become the first deaf man ever to be nominated for an Oscar. His co-star in the movie Marlee Matlin was the first deaf actress to be nominated in the 1980s for Children of the Lesser God, and she won Best Actress. So let's see if Troy Kotsur can also win an Oscar for his first nomination. There's also some history that could be made in the Best Supporting Actress category if Ariana DeBose wins for her performance as Anita in West Side Story. First of all, she would be the first openly queer woman of color ever to win an Oscar, so that would be a very exciting moment. If she does win, she will also make it the third time that two actors have won Oscars for playing the same role in two different movies. So Marlon Brando and Robert De Niro both won Oscars for playing Vito Corleone in two different Godfather films. And of course, Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix both won Oscars for playing the Joker in two different films. So if Ariana DeBose wins, it'll be the same role that Rita Moreno won her Oscar for 60 years ago. So that would be a great moment. There's some more history that could be made in the Best Actor category. Will Smith is already the 9th person and the second Black man to be nominated for acting and producing the same film for King Richard. If he wins the Best Actor Oscar, which I think he's going to, he would be the 5th Black actor ever to win the Best Actor Oscar after Sidney Poitier, Denzel Washington, Jamie Foxx, and Forrest Whitaker. There's also a cool statistic in the Best Picture race involving Cate Blanchett, who of course is one of the most acclaimed actors or actresses working today. With the Best Picture nominations for Don't Look Up and Nightmare Alley, Cate Blanchett now surpasses Olivia de Havilland, a great classic actress from films like Gone with the Wind, as the performer who has appeared in the most Best Picture nominees of all time. So it just goes to show that whenever Cate Blanchett makes a film, whether she's actually nominated herself or not, the film always benefits from her participation. There's something really exciting going on in the Best Director category this year. First of all, Steven Spielberg, with his nomination for West Side Story, becomes the first person ever to be nominated for Best Director in 6 consecutive decades. So he got his first director nomination for Close Encounters of the Third Kind back in the 70s. If Spielberg wins the Oscar for West Side Story, he will become the oldest Best Director winner of all time at age 75. Currently, that record is held by Clint Eastwood, who won when he was 74. This year is also a great year for films written and directed by women, particularly in the Best Adapted Screenplay category. That's screenplays that are based on previously published or performed material, like a remake of a film or an adaptation of a book. And this year, for the first time in 30 years, 3 of the 5 scripts that are nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay were written by women. Coda by Sian Heder, The Lost Daughter by Maggie Gyllenhaal, and The Power of the Dog by Jane Campion. And I think Jane Campion is going to win it. There's another thing to look out for in this year's Best Picture race. I think for the first time, we could very well see a Best Picture winner by a streaming service as opposed to a typical Hollywood studio. I think The Power of the Dog stands a really good chance to win, and that's a Netflix movie. No streaming movie has ever won Best Picture yet. A couple have come close, I think, but if Power of the Dog wins, this will be the first time that has ever happened. I know I'll be tuning into the Oscars on March 27th to see all the history that's going to be made. I can't wait.
Well, we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. Now, to close out our preview, coming up next are interviews with Nicole Kidman, Javier Bardem, and Kristen Stewart.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright. Time to give yourself an entire body reset.
Let's go. The new approach to saving our planet. Simple life swaps, great for the environment.
This is quite the spring break crowd.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this
I
closet.
took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
These days, the news never stops. The morning's headlines change by afternoon, and by the end of the day, it's all totally different. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. I get it. I know that it can be hard to keep up. So let's get started together and go from there. Hey, I'm Hallie Jackson, and we have a ton going on tonight. Here's the deal.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Making Space, the inspirational podcast from Hoda Kotb. Listen now.
We're back here on Pop Start Plus with more of our Oscars preview. Nicole Kidman and Javier Bardem transformed into Lucy and Ricky Ricardo for the film Being the Ricardos. Both are nominated for their roles. And our own Chanel Jones sat down with the duo to learn exactly how they prepared to play the TV icons.
I Love Lucy defined the TV sitcom in the 1950s with still iconic scenes like Vitamita Vegemin.
Vitamita Vegemin contains vitamins, meats, vegetables, and minerals.
And of course, stomping grapes in Italy, which was recreated in the new film Being the Ricardos.
We only did 3 takes of it, and that was it.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, I'd spent 2 months preparing it. And it's like, it's gone.
Written and directed by Aaron Sorkin, Being the Ricardos focuses on the behind-the-scenes drama, Lucy and Desi's turbulent marriage, and a crisis that threatens to end their careers.
You're not telling these people that I checked the wrong box.
There were 181 episodes of I Love Lucy. Did you watch all of them, some of them?
I watched all of them in one night.
Just
your face,
one after-
your face saying, really?
Ricky, this is it.
There are always brilliance in every show. There's always a moment of brilliance.
Brilliance that's daunting to live up to. When news broke of Nicole Kidman's casting, not everyone thought she was right for the role.
There are critics who say, does she look like her? Can she do this? Do you let that give you any space in your head, or?
Try not to, but a human being. So there's times when you go, gosh, maybe I'm not the right person for this. But that's where having somebody like Aaron, who really said at the beginning, he was like, I'm not wanting a perfect rendition or imitation of Lucy. No, 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 no.
Kidman actually felt a special connection to Lucille Ball.
A lot of it I can relate to, and I go, okay, I've been in that situation. I know that. So I think those things are relatable.
You've been?
There's a scene in it where they say, you're 39 and that's it. It's kind of over for you. I know that feeling. I sort of had that. And it was like, okay, where television suddenly opened a door. For her, it opened a door for me around the same age. I was like, gosh, that's kind of, I know that feeling really deeply.
Javier Bardem plays Desi Arnaz, the famous Cuban-American band leader whose Congo skills may have been a bit hard to replicate. You played the Congo so hard, your hand bled at one point, is that true?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, when you hit it hard, you start to bleed. Yeah, if you're not a conga player.
Are you?
No, I'm not. And you want to make it sound. And then they put a playback, and you say, louder, 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 and then you don't hear what you're doing, and then you go like crazy, and then cut. It's like, what's going on?
That was the first act of a new episode right there.
I read that you pursued this role for years. What was it about this role?
And I started to watch the episodes, and I felt immediately drawn into him, like his energy, his skills, his talent, his humor, his way of taking the place, owning the place, in a moment where it was so difficult to be a foreigner in this country.
Kidman and Bardem capture the deep and complicated love between Lucy and Desi, possibly drawing from their own high-profile marriages to Keith Urban and Penelope Cruz.
I think we're both fortunate in the sense of we have partners that understand the artistic process and say, "God, I want you to have that," which I love.
It's a gift to belong to such a great story and such a great movie. So when it happens, it's like, take it.
Great to just get a snapshot into the lives of Lucy and Desi. All right, now last but not least, Kristen Stewart. We caught up with her to chat about her role as Princess Diana in the film Spencer, one that landed her a nomination for Best Actress.
You got an incredible standing ovation when this film Spencer debuted. And you really embody Princess Diana, which I can't even imagine how intimidating that is to take on someone who's so well known. How did you watch The Crown? That was part of the research?
Yeah, I think I watched it in like 3 days, actually.
Yeah.
It was nice to have that and going through all the memoirs and research and documentaries that actually are not remotely dry. It was just nice to have like a dramatized version of the story to... It was very clickbaity for me. I just couldn't stop going to the next episode.
How did you go about like nailing the accent, the mannerisms, all of the things that were Princess Diana?
She is not difficult to absorb, to be honest. And I wish that there was a sort of key to this magic trick. My only answer is that I took her into my physicality in a sort of emotional, spiritual way. I'm such a huge, enormous admirer of her, and it's hard to not be impacted by that energy. I just also luckily had a good 4 or 5 months to work with a beautiful coach, and I trust process. You know, it became really physical and muscular, and then once I got there, it was really important to focus on her spontaneity and her life. And I think every picture I've seen of her, every bit of footage I've seen of her, she is exuding life and just like kind of exploding alive. And so I couldn't make everything perfect and precise. You know, I still needed it to kind of live and breathe and feel unruly. I feel like when she walked in a room, it felt like you didn't know what was going to happen. And that could be projection, sort of maybe our memories of her and then knowing what happened. There's something about looking back, you know, hindsight is 20/20. Every time I look at her, I'm like, I get a little bit worried.
The film really captures that because there is a certain unpredictability about her. And it's a really interesting construct because this isn't supposed to be history. Yes, that scene really happened. It's something poetic. You take 3 days and imagine what those 3 days at Christmas toward the end of their relationship, what that might have been like. Is that what kind of drew you to it, this idea of artistic license based in someone we all know or feel like we know?
Yeah, I think that's what cinema gives us is this sort of opportunity to dream and not necessarily just sort of regurgitate facts. You know, movies do the coolest thing. They take internal feelings and externalize them. This conversation is like literal and we're present, we're talking to each other now, but there are inner lives that people have that are incommunicable. And so I think all of the things that we know are true, as a cultural entity, as an audience, we bring all of those facts to the movie. You don't have to state them. I think by the end of the movie, we end on a sort of lighter note because she ultimately did find her liberation and she broke free and became embodied and articulate in the press and like organized interviews and was like, I'm going to speak for myself and have my boys and protect what really matters to me. And then at the end of the movie, what rushes in is the tragedy of what happened. And you go, oh man, you get to hold her whole life in these 3 days without having to sort of hit the nail on the head. It just feels more emotional.
Boy, it's amazing how movies can just transport you right into somebody else's life. All right, everybody, that was our big Oscars preview. What'd you think? Hold your thoughts there, unless they're good. Popstar Plus comes to a close. Hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you learned a thing or two. And of course, we're sending a very big good luck wishes to all of this year's nominees, both on camera and behind. We'll see you next time right here on Popstar Plus. Thanks for watching.
Oh, the family came back for Friday morning today in 30. Folks, we are so glad to have you with us.
We are so happy to see you. You guys are watching our digital show. It's Today in 30. We closed out the week with another big show.
We did, and coming up, we're going to take you inside the president's visit to Poland today. He's getting a first-hand look at the growing refugee crisis along the Ukraine border.
Okay, and then there's something that they're calling lunchflation. It's a new concern for workers who are going back to the office. What you need to know about the soaring cost of that midday meal. And by the way, it's the biggest jump in restaurant prices in 40 years.
Just when folks are going back to the office, too. Plus, we got some special visitors in our studio this morning, Elmo and Abby Kadabi. We helped our friends from Sesame Street celebrate some exciting news.
Yeah, and we're getting ready for Sunday night's Oscars, the 94th Academy Awards. They'll be back. They'll have the glitz, the glamour, the red carpet. They haven't had hosts since 2018.
Yeah.
First time. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's coming up on this jam-packed Friday edition of Today in 30. We'll start with NBC's Kristen Welker. She's in Warsaw, where the president will be later today. Kristen, good morning.
Savannah and Hoda, good morning to both of you. President Biden is heading here to Poland this morning, where he's expected to put a focus on the growing refugee crisis. But before he left Brussels, he announced that the U.S. will provide Europe with more natural gas to help decrease its dependency on Russia. It comes as he wraps up a high-stakes summit, all aimed at getting Vladimir Putin to back down. This morning, President Biden wrapping up marathon talks in Brussels before heading to Poland to deliver a critical show of support to a key NATO ally as Russia's war in Ukraine rages on. Poland is now the epicenter of the humanitarian crisis sparked by Russia's invasion, taking in more than 2 million refugees from Ukraine in the last month, concluding a day of emergency meetings with NATO and other allies. The president announced the U.S. will commit more than $1 billion in humanitarian aid and take in Ukrainian refugees.
We'll welcome 100,000 Ukrainians to the United States with a focus on reuniting families.
After warning Vladimir Putin may use chemical and biological weapons in Ukraine, the president vowed the U.S. will take action if Putin launches a chemical attack.
The nature of the response would depend on the nature of the use.
But when pressed, the president did not say whether that would trigger a military response from NATO.
It would trigger a response in kind. Whether or not you're asking whether NATO would cross, we'd make that decision at the time.
Mr. Biden and NATO also unveiled new sanctions on Russian lawmakers, as the president said he'll push for Russia to be kicked out of the G20, representing the world's largest economies.
My answer is yes. That depends on the G20.
Still, the president pushed back when asked about U.S. sanctions against Russia and whether they failed to deter Putin from going to war, something the Biden administration initially said was the goal. The president's message now?
Sanctions never deter. You keep talking about that. The maintenance of sanctions, the increasing the pain, that's what will stop him.
And when asked if he was too quick to take military action off the table and whether that emboldened Putin?
No and no.
So, Kristen, we talked about the president going to Poland today. Obviously, this is where he will see that refugee crisis firsthand.
That's absolutely right, Savannah, and the stakes could not be higher. The president's agenda will center on the humanitarian crisis that is unfolding here in Poland that we've all been witnessing. He's going to kick that off by attending an event aimed at providing support for the increasing number of refugees here. He's also expected to meet with American troops sent here to bolster NATO's forces along the border. And on his final day tomorrow, Mr. Biden will hold critical talks with Poland's president, all capping off a really important trip. The president hopes will force Putin to take pause and scale back his aggression. Savannah.
Kristen Welker, thank you very much.
Well, let's get right to the situation inside war-torn Ukraine, where Russia is stepping up attacks on even more civilian targets. NBC's chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel is in Kyiv for us once again. Hi, Richard. Good morning.
Good morning, Hoda. Many developments overnight. Let's start with the city of Mariupol. The southern city is surrounded by Russian forces. It has been bombed relentlessly. Nearly 2 weeks ago, Russia bombed a theater in Mariupol that was sheltering hundreds of civilians. This morning, local Ukrainian officials claimed that strike killed several hundred Ukrainians in the theater, around 300. We can't confirm that figure, but it would be the single worst atrocity since this war began, as Russia is continuing its bombing campaign nationwide.
Overnight, Russia continued its bombing campaign, striking a fuel depot outside Kyiv, trying to cut supplies to the capital, and topple the government with a long war of attrition. In Kharkiv to the east, Russia bombed more apartment buildings. As in the city, relatives held a funeral for Boris Romanchenko, a 96-year-old Ukrainian Jew. He survived Nazi concentration camps, only to be killed by a Russian bomb that hit his home. His son said his memory would not be forgotten, even though many of the family's papers and photographs were destroyed. Across Kharkiv, the war is starting to drag on. Many have been living down in the subway stations for a month now. But it's Russia's justification for the war that bothers Natalia. She says she has friends in Russia who believe the Russian propaganda, that Russia is fighting to topple Ukraine's supposedly fascist and neo-Nazi government. I've been sheltering with my child in the metro for a month, and they do not believe me. They say, it's your fault. You are to blame. It's you, she says. In non-stop reports, Russian state TV describe Russian troops as liberators in Ukraine, insisting they never target civilians. These are the first images from inside a theater in Mariupol Russia attacked 9 days ago, where hundreds of Ukrainian civilians were sheltering. Covered in dust, they seem dazed. Many are women, children, and the elderly. A narrator on the video says the missile hit the center of the theater and people are evacuating the site. Mariupol city officials citing witnesses claim 300 people were killed in the attack. NBC News cannot verify that claim. The theater is in the center of Mariupol, and it had been clearly marked with signs in Russia saying children to indicate children were inside. Russia denied it carried out the attack. Ukraine is holding back the Russian assault for now, but it faces an army 8 times its size. President Zelensky called on European leaders to stand with Ukraine and on people around the world to take to the streets in solidarity with his nation.
Here in Kyiv this morning, the air raid sirens have been going off once again as Russia's intensifying its attacks on this city's northern suburbs. Hoda.
All right, Richard Engel for us there in Kyiv. Richard, thank you. For a lot of people heading back to the office for the first time in 2 years, picking up lunch is part of the daily routine. That's happening again.
Yeah, and if it feels like that salad or sandwich got more expensive while you've been away, it did.
Yeah. NBC's business and tech correspondent Jolene Kent joins us with a bit of an explanation. Hey, Joe, good morning.
Hey guys, good morning. Lunchflation has become an expensive reality for people going back to the office. The prices of salads, sandwiches, and wraps, even tacos, going up nationwide by a lot. And it's adding up to a serious double whammy on your wallet as you're already spending more and more for that gas to get back to the office.
With millions heading back into the office again, workers are forking over more for lunch. Popular lunch spots like Sweetgreen saying they're raising their prices in what's being called lunchflation.
When you see prices going up for lunch, what runs through your head?
Who's spending like $15 for a salad they can make at home?
The price you pay at restaurants overall is up nearly 7% in the last year alone, the biggest jump since 1981. According to the tech company Square, the price of a wrap is up 18% since last year, a sandwich rising 14%, salads soaring 11%, and burgers spiking 8%. Nationwide, even taco prices have risen 12%. These hikes are due to labor shortages and the skyrocketing costs of ingredients.
It's kind of hard because I'm on a budget. I don't have a ton of money to spend and stuff.
And for consumers who think bringing lunch will solve this problem, well, you're in for a surprise. Groceries cost 8.6% more than a year ago, including record-breaking prices for lunch meat. Shoppers sounding off on social media, saying, maybe I just wasn't used to buying a lot of groceries, but this was $100?
Are you making any other adjustments in your life so you can still grab a taco and go out for lunch?
Yeah, generally just buying less. I've started eating a lot more toast, which sounds really sad. All my friends make fun of me because I'll eat toast for lunch or toast for dinner.
Some employers are trying to soften the blow by subsidizing lunches, while some restaurants are offering special lunch deals. To save where you can, experts say it's still cheaper to bring your own lunch and to opt for generic brands. Avoid expensive add-ons, use savings apps and coupon sites, and track your spending to find other places to save, so your desk lunch doesn't eat too much into your budget.
Now, adding to the sticker shock, wages are lagging behind this rapid inflation, making that lunch you're buying at work even more expensive. But the good news is you could see prices come down in the next 6 to 12 months. The Federal Reserve, of course, planning to continue raising those interest rates as it tries to get this high inflation under control, guys.
All right, Jolene Kent for us. Thank you, Joe.
Let us get a boost. It's Friday morning.
Okay, this one is awesome. So Jules Hoogland, she's a high school basketball player in Michigan. She also happens to be blind. So when it's time for a foul shot, get this, the whole gymnasium goes silent so she can hear one sound that tells her where the basket is. Take a look. Can you believe that? Wow. Jules has scored in every single game this season. She plays on her school's unified team. It includes athletes with disabilities and those without. Don't you love the entire crowd?
Yes.
is with her. It's
That's why we love sports.
The crowd's on the team there.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition. What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this closet.
I took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Time for a Friday edition of Going Around the Horn. Here we go. Everybody hanging out. Boom, there it is. Look out. There's Craig Melvin coming around the horn, baby. Just about done. There you go. You made it. That is your Friday Going Around the Horn. Hoda.
You're right. You know what? Carson's right. You got to sponsor that.
Yes.
I think that is that's a brilliant little bit. All right. Wherever they go, our friends from Sesame Street bring the smiles, they bring the fun, and this morning, we're so lucky because they're paying us a visit.
Elmo and Abby Cadabra are joining us, along with Nick Manna, Vice President of Entertainment for Sesame Place. Hello, everybody. It's good to have you. Hi, Elmo.
Good morning. We missed you guys with the pandemic and all. What have you guys been up to, Elmo?
Oh, well, we're really excited because we're about to go to an amusement park. Yeah, we're having a major play date.
Wait, a major play date? Is it here in New York or is it far, far away?
It's in San Diego.
San Diego.
That's right. It's in San Diego.
What?
Sesame Place's brand new family.
Why San Diego,
park.
Nick?
We chose San Diego because it's always sunny there. It's about a 2.5-hour ride away from Los Angeles and a good time.
Abby, do you love California?
I'm excited because it's a water park and I got a new bathing suit and everything. And we get to play. And there's dancing too. Like there's parades. It's such a hoopla.
Wait, Hoda, you took your kids to this
By
here,
the way, I have to tell you, this is one of my favorite things. We went to Sesame Place here on the East Coast. It's a blast. You do go in your bathing suits. There's tons of fun. You have dance parties. Elmo, your dance parties at Sesame Place are amazing.
Oh, yeah, well, Elmo can't wait to do some more dancing. We should all go together and have a dance party.
What's your
Show us some moves, Elmo. Show us some moves.
Abby, too. I love this. And so, Nick, when's this going to open?
It actually opens today in San
Okay.
Diego.
Oh, wow.
We're super excited about that. We have an all-new show that was specifically written for this park, our award-winning Sesame Street Party Parade. There's whirling rides, splashy water slides, and so much fun for the whole family.
Elmo, what's your favorite thing about the new park?
You know, Elmo really just likes meeting all the new people.
You do?
Yeah.
Abby, how about for you?
Well, this is kind of silly, but I heard they have really good, crunchy, big pickles there. And I've always
Pickles. You guys, we spent part of our time trying to find Oscar, but we ended up tracking him down. He's kind of hard to find at these parks sometimes.
Yeah, he's grouchy.
How come?
Well, he's very difficult. But you know what? We love him anyway.
We love him anyway. We're so excited you guys are opening this today in San Diego. The kids are going to love it. It's a blast. You can really spend all day there.
Yeah, no, it sounds like they have a little bit of everything,
yeah,
too.
It's really fun.
And quickly, how's everything on Sesame Street now? We're beyond the pandemic a little bit. Things are better there? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's great. You know, we're going to have a play date with Big Bird and Grover today. Yeah, and Rosita.
Tell them we said hello.
It's nice. I think we're even closer than we were before.
Yeah,
a
that's
stronger
nice.
community than ever.
Yeah.
Abby, you're so sweet.
What's a special place?
Oh, you too, Elmo. We love you so much.
Come back and see us again, guys. Congratulations on the new park.
Love
Awesome.
Making Space, the inspirational podcast from Hoda Kotb. Listen now.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
These days, the news never stops. The morning's headlines change by afternoon, and by the end of the day, it's all totally different. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. I get it. I know that it can be hard to keep up. So let's get started together and go from there.
Hey, I'm Hallie Jackson, and we have a ton going on tonight. Here's the deal.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
What happened here is a story of loss and salvation. There were residents who hung on for dear life. This is where you took shelter, in this
I
closet.
took shelter right in this closet right here.
Rioters banged down one of the doors.
Have you found a way to reconcile it a year later?
It really hurt to see this place that I love so much treated with such disrespect.
Was it an act of cleaning or an act of healing?
To stand on the edge of the cliff and jump takes a lot of guts. We are meeting people one after the next who have made profound changes. I think you're going to be blown away by the life lessons.
Join Hoda for new episodes of her podcast, Making Space. Listen now.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
We are back with more of our special Generations Today series in honor of Women's History Month.
Yeah, it's a celebration of powerful women through inspiring conversations with their granddaughters. And this morning, NBC's Blaine Alexander is introducing us to a 16-year-old keeping her grandmother's soul alive through music. Hey, Blaine, good morning.
Guys, good morning to you. It was such a joy to catch up with Grace Franklin, and especially to do so in Detroit, where so much of this history began. You know, we learned a lot of things about the Queen of Soul that you probably don't know, and we also learned that the genes are very strong in that family.
She is the undisputed Queen of Soul. But to 16-year-old Grace Franklin,
What did you call her? I just called her Grandma.
You called her Grandma?
Yeah.
for Grace, born and raised in Detroit, weekly visits with Grandma were a staple growing up.
And just like watching TV sometimes. A lot of times we would watch Family Feud. Family Feud's a good show. Yes.
Would she play along?
Yes.
And you may not be surprised to learn the Queen of Soul was also the Queen of Soul food.
What was your favorite dish? Probably her macaroni. Her macaroni was so good.
Did she try and teach you, try and show you?
A little bit, but it wasn't very good.
Cooking skills aside, Grace got a lot from her grandma, her sense of style, love of family, but perhaps most notably, a soul for singing. Her favorite stage is right here at New Bethel Baptist Church in Detroit, the very place where Aretha Franklin famously got her start.
She was about your age when people really started taking notice of her. Is it almost surreal to you to be singing in the same place where she was?
It's crazy to think that a lot of the same people that were with her when she was younger in the same church are watching me now.
Do you have a favorite song of your grandmother's overall?
Don't Play That Song is definitely one of my favorites that we used to sing together. I love how she throws her voice in it. It's so amazing.
When you listen to her music, how does she inspire you?
The way that she can change any song to make it her own.
So you learned a lot from her.
Yeah.
Just by watching her. Mm-hmm.
Grace recently took those lessons to American Idol, singing one of her grandma's classics.
Stop trying to be someone you're not.
Not enough to get her to the next round, but a chance to take yet another note from the Queen herself.
When you get up and when you sing here where your grandmother got her start, do you feel her presence with you?
I feel her presence with me anytime I perform. I always think of how she used to prepare in her dressing room and just her words of encouragement whenever me and my siblings ever perform. To always remember that God is with you on stage and that whatever happens, you know that you're great.
But the lessons Grace holds most dear came off the stage, like standing up for what you believe in.
She was very involved in the civil rights movement. She was very involved, especially when Black Lives Matter came up again in 2014.
And to live and love fiercely.
She was very compassionate, and I don't feel like a lot of people got to see that side of her very often. She always cared a lot about the people around her, and her love was just very strong.
Guys, it was just so much fun to meet her, to learn those things about her grandmother. Who knew that she loved watching Family Feud? And I loved hearing Grace sing the words to Ain't No Way. It was just so beautiful. Now, it's not just Grace and her family. She actually has an older sister who is currently a music major at Howard University. And Grace is performing with the Detroit Youth Choir. They're set to hit Carnegie Hall later this summer, guys.
Oh, wow. Got a gorgeous voice.
Incredible. Blaine, you got to tell Grace that she has an open invitation. It's Carson, by the way, to come on to The Voice.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that she has more than enough to do well there. We would love to have her.
She would love to hear that. I will tell her right
Please
now.
Tell her.
Absolutely.
We're going to find her. Thanks, Blaine.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world. Because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. It is good to have you with us.
So delighted we're together.
We're together.
I make Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, see? So this show is for you, my friend.
We got a huge, beautiful crowd.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
To stand on the edge of the cliff and jump takes a lot of guts.
If I never got to sing another song, I would still feel the joy that I feel right now.
We are meeting people one after the next who have made profound changes.
It's the little moments that are the transforming moments.
Oh my gosh, I never thought of that. Oh my gosh, I could apply that. I want to stop for a second. In season 2, I think you're going to be blown away by the life lessons.
Join Hoda for new episodes of her podcast, Making Space. Listen now.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
The Academy Awards are this weekend, and we have our own Wizard of Odds here to break down the nominees, which is funny because I just interviewed Judy Garland's granddaughter. That just worked out. Anyway, NBC News national political correspondent Steve Kornick, the Wizard of Odds. Well, the Wizard of Odds. There's some.
Hi, Steve.
I get it.
I get it.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Steve. lot of movies that I feel like people are able to stream at home this time around, so people might actually know a lot of the movies in the running this year. Can you kind of break down what we can expect this weekend?
It's gotten a little different, right? The rise of streaming the last few years. Obviously, people have stayed away from movie theaters because of the pandemic, so it's been a little different with the Oscars the last few years. This will be the 94th Academy Awards this weekend. The first was back in 1929. The host that year, by the way, Douglas Fairbanks Sr.
Wow.
So you go over, Matt, in the first Academy Awards to 3 hosts this year. It's going to be Wanda Sykes, Regina Hall, Amy Schumer. Remember, by the way, last few years, they haven't had an official host. So this is the first time there's going to be an official host, or 3 of them, since 2018 with Jimmy Kimmel. Some other numbers for you here. The most nominations for any movie, it's The Power of the Dog. 12 nominations for that movie. A lot of expectations there. Steven Spielberg. You talk about Krzyzewski in the last segment, always towering over March Madness. It's Steven Spielberg who always towers over the... Got to get it in. Got to get it in. Look at this. 6th consecutive decade with West Side Story, his nomination for Best Director, Best Picture. 6th consecutive decade that Spielberg has been nominated. Go all the way back to Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Here's another one right here. Kenneth Branagh. He's making a little bit of history. He's now been nominated, Belfast, for Best Original Screenplay here. This is the 7th different category in his career that he has received an Oscar nomination for. So a lot, actor, director, adapted screenplay, now Best Original Screenplay for Kenneth Branagh. So he's kind of made some history of his own here. See if he can pick up.
That's right. He was a guest on our show not too long ago. We're talking now Best Actor, Director, Picture. What do you think?
Let's take a look at what the odds say here. We show you these for the basketball tournament. We'll show you these for the Oscar here. Here's all the nominees for Best Picture. Remember, they expanded it last few years, but there is a clear favorite. As I said, it's Power of the Dog, the 3-5 favorite to walk away with Best Picture.
Yeah, but I think Coda.
Coda is the live second choice here. 3-2 odds here. Coda, it's a movie that's gotten, I think, a lot of kind of late attention in this Oscar season. Those odds have been getting shorter. We just mentioned Branagh in Belfast, 14-1. You got some longer shots there. You see West Side Story, 33-1. But Power of the Dog, Coda, I think, interesting race to watch there. If you took a look at Best Actress here, Jessica Chastain.
Jessica Chastain.
Well, how about Nicole Kidman?
She was good.
Playing Lucille Ball.
That's true.
7-2. Now, here's the interesting one to me. The biggest single favorite you're going to get in all the Oscar odds, it's Will Smith, King Richard, playing the Williams sisters' father. 1-10 odds. I will just say, this was the category last year with the biggest upset.
That's true.
This is where Anthony Hopkins, remember this, walked away with Best Actor last year. Even he didn't expect to win it. So you see Will Smith as 1-10. Keep in mind, we did see a big upset here.
Pretty awesome.
There could be some other options.
But this was Will Smith's best performance of his career, hands down.
Yeah,
even compared to Ali, I think.
The odds of it happening twice in a row, infinitesimally small. But I just pointed
First
out.
happenings. There's a lot of first happenings.
Couple other things here to note, sort of historically here. This was not where we were supposed to go. Here we go. Well, here's the question here. For you guys, who was the first?
This?
Yeah, we're going to ask you this. There are some historical. We say the first deaf actor nominated for Coda, Marlee Matlin, who's also in the movie, was the first deaf actress to win an Oscar. Now we have the first deaf actor nominated, Troy Kotsur, for that. But here's a trivia question for you guys. I know we were supposed to get the other one in the middle there. I'm sorry about that, but I'm going to go right to that trivia question for you here. We mentioned 3 women hosting the Oscars this year. Here's your question. You could see who was the first woman to host the Oscars solo. Was it Ellen? Was it Whoopi? Was it Anne Hathaway?
Whoopi.
It was the answer. Whoopi Goldberg. She did it 4 times. She did it in 94, 96, 99, and 2000.
And she was famous for changing her costume. I mean, she had some magnificent costumes throughout her time.
I should start watching the Oscars because I really realize I haven't watched them in a long time.
Well, you've got 3 small children, too.
Well, before that, I didn't know Whoopi had hosted 4 times.
Did you do an interview with somebody from The Wizard of Oz?
We got to go. We got to move on.
All right, Steve, thank you so much.
All right, thanks, guys. Enjoy the show.
I'm sorry I ruined your whole thing.
So this week we got to stay up late with Jimmy Fallon. We rocked our Casbahs. Well, guess what? Next week he's going to get out early for us. The Tonight Show host has something fun to share.
Did you say rocked our Casbahs?
I know. What is a Casbah? Is it? I hope it's not bad or dirty.
All right, come back
Please
Monday.
don't cancel me.
Goodbye.
Okay.
See ya. Have a great
Bye.
weekend.
Over the years, I have been lucky enough to step into the Today Show kitchen and watch the best chefs from around the world teach us some incredible recipes. We had made that pesto, which was, oh, exactly. I almost got out of this one clean.
Turn it down.
Oh my gosh, I had one job. None of which I've mastered because, well, I actually don't know the first thing about how to cook, but I'm putting those days behind me for good. Today, Darnell Super Chef Ferguson is going to teach me his tricks for the most important meal of the day, breakfast. We're making an American-style omelet with all the fixings, the crispiest candied bacon, and a classic pancakes that everyone in my family will love. I'm feeling pretty confident about this one, and I love breakfast, so let's get started. Darnell Ferguson, thank you for coming all this way. I really love breakfast. I even like breakfast for dinner. Do you ever do that?
See, that's what I was gonna say. You know, we're gonna do breakfast, brunch, and some Brenner.
Okay,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
I love Brenner.
Our plan for today is 1, Savannah will learn how to cook a flawless sunny side up egg. 2, we'll cook an American style omelet. 3, sprinkle brown sugar and grind pepper for candied bacon. 4, make the pancake batter. 5, use the griddle to make the pancakes. 6, plate and serve.
This is probably gonna make you laugh. I don't really know how to fry an egg. I mean, I've tried it before. I don't know. I don't know how to flip it over. Could we just learn that basic thing first?
Yeah, so since you don't know how to flip it over, let's start with sunny side up.
Okay.
Which is my favorite style of eggs.
All right.
The least cooked egg is a sunny side up egg. Then you have over easy, you have over medium, and every egg keeps getting cooked more. We have our eggs right here.
Okay.
Little 101 for cracking eggs is never crack it on the corner.
Okay.
Do you crack it on the corner at home?
Yeah.
From here on out, you're not going to, okay?
Yeah.
So we're gonna crack it on a flat surface.
Well, but then see, that wasn't
Perfect.
very good.
See, that was easy.
Should I try it again?
Yeah, try another one. There
Just
you
let
go.
me try.
Okay.
This is the only way to learn, I
You were
think.
strong, so yeah, there you go.
Okay, that was
Perfect.
better.
See? Round 2 is there now.
Practice makes
Yep.
perfect. Okay,
So
now.
we're gonna lightly just let that egg just fall right into the pan.
I see you just did yolk last. Was that on purpose?
Oh no, I don't have a choice. The egg is in control of this show.
Okay,
It's gonna do what it wants to do. I'm just here as a bystander.
Okay, the egg is driving. I'd be worried. I'm already feeling a little stressed like it's gonna burn.
No, it's not gonna burn. It's
Okay.
very low temperatures.
Okay.
Very low. So you don't have to worry about that. And it shouldn't stick because it's non-stick pan. Yours looks like something that is not a true like egg, how perfect that looks.
I mean, it really does. It kind of
does.
looks fake.
Yeah, it does. Like yours doesn't even like a real egg. That's how good you are. You see, that's the confidence you need.
So now you're good for my confidence.
Okay, so we're gonna get a little bit of butter.
Okay.
Right?
And then what?
And then once it melts down, we're going to take our spoon and we're going to just put the butter over the egg whites.
Okay,
And that's going to help cook it.
That's cool.
So you're taking a hot liquid
Yes.
and you're putting it over your undercooked eggs.
But not on the yolk, just on the whites.
Just on the whites.
Okay.
Here you go. I'll show you this perfect egg, which is almost done. Only
Yes.
has about another 30 seconds.
How do you know it's almost done?
It'll be firm.
Okay.
So now it's finished.
Okay.
Now our sunny side up egg, you've done this. Easy, just like a pro. Now we
Okay.
can put it on our plates.
Wow.
You grab your toast plate.
Okay.
Making eggs is one of the easiest things, but I will tell you this. If you ever want to know how great a chef is,
Yes.
tell them to make you eggs.
Really? Why?
It takes time, it takes a lot of skill, and
How do you get it off the pan?
so it just want to fall right on off.
Oh, you're just
It'll
gonna kind of like
Yep.
slide it.
Just slide it right on off. We have
Okay.
a little flaky sea salt.
Okay, yes. This looks incredible, by the way.
Well, you did it. See?
Wow.
Look at this.
Okay.
And then we got a little black pepper if you like it.
How do you know, though? I guess I'm still obsessed with this, like the yolk. How do I know if it's like runny or thick enough?
The yolk is the easy part.
Okay.
You want it runny. It's
Right.
it's the whites
Okay.
that you want cooked.
Okay.
So the whites are cooked, the yolk is runny, that's sunny side up. And
Look at us.
toast.
Just two chefs
Yep.
making eggs. Cheers.
Yes. You want to try it out? This is what everybody wants.
Oh
on
my
here.
gosh, so good. And of course, I like to mop it up with the toast.
Yes.
Mm,
That's delicious.
so good. Darnell, I think we're ready to graduate to something even trickier.
So you ready to go into omelet making?
I am.
So let's have a good toast to those sunny side up eggs that we made.
We always have a cocktail on this show.
I love it.
I think we're mimosing today. Let me see.
That's delicious.
Ease up on the orange juice.
Omelets are fun. There's not a lot of things you cook that are fun to cook, but omelets are fun to do.
Okay, I'm into this.
They're fast, It'll make you feel like you're in the NBA for a little bit because you can do it and you'll get your confidence up. The first thing you want to do is what we call mise en place. We have everything laid out first, and then we want to make sure our knife skills are perfect. So the first thing we're going to actually do is the ham.
I've learned a couple things about knives.
You're doing great.
Okay.
There you go. I worry about your hands being out like that.
I know. Actually, when I took piano lessons when I was 6, Mr. Cloretz made us do the piano like this. You know, you were supposed to have curved fingers. I need to remember that.
It's a great way. So just small pieces, consistent sizes. That way the omelet is pretty smooth.
Okay.
Here we go.
This looks so good. Okay. All right, chopped enough. We got plenty of ham.
Yes.
Ham is my favorite, though. So good.
Ham, wait till you try the candied bacon.
Oh,
it's gonna be your new favorite. I know your kids are gonna love it, by the way. Let's do our eggs.
Eggs, okay. I learned from a very wise chef. Never on the corner, always here. Now we whisk. Okay. I know this from scrambling.
Yes.
I usually do it with a fork. Does it matter?
No.
Okay.
Whisk is gonna put more air into it. So, a little salt and pepper in here.
Okay. Oh yes, always salt and pepper. Okay.
There you go.
Like this much salt, or is that too much?
No, that's great.
Like what about?
Remember, you can always add more later.
Okay, I know. I tend to undersalt, but now I've been told by so many of you chefs to put more salt that I might be over-salting. How's that? Good?
That looks great. Looks great.
Okay.
We'll whisk that together.
Do you ever put milk in it or no?
Scrambled eggs, I like to put the fat in there. I like to put the milk in there. And it stretches out your eggs so you got a lot of kids to cook for at home.
Yeah.
So I have 8 kids. 6 who stay at my house full time. So
Oh my gosh.
that's why I call my wife my junior chef, because she's always cooking for juniors.
Oh. That's amazing. Wow. Okay.
Before, we're gonna put a little butter in here. We're gonna let it foam up a little bit.
This is my big question about omelet making. When do you put the toppings in?
So there's no right answer to that. You can put it in before, like we're gonna do today, and let them cook a little bit.
You mean you put the, wait a minute. You put the vegetables in before the eggs?
Yes, that is one way of doing it.
Okay, wow, you're blowing my mind.
Now let's go ahead and put whatever vegetables and meats you want to put inside.
Okay, so
here.
this would be when I put the spinach in.
Yes.
Which I don't usually like spinach, but I want to learn, so I'm putting
Help
it in.
soften it up a little bit.
Now these are big old leaves. Should I have chopped those smaller?
No, they're gonna cook down.
I'll put a couple peppers.
So we have this going, and remember, all these meats are cured meats, so they're already cooked enough.
Oh, okay.
So we're not worried about cooking the meats.
Got it. It's
right?
more like heating them up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and pour our eggs in.
Okay. So this is enough.
That's enough.
I don't have to wait for these to be brown
No.
or anything? Okay.
No.
Okay.
There you go. Pour it right in there.
Okay. Ooh.
Fancy.
Okay.
All right. So now go ahead and scramble your egg a little bit.
Okay.
Because we want to get everything evenly incorporated.
Okay.
There you go. And then now we're going to let it set. Perfect.
Get over there. I want it to look like yours does, though.
So look, now I'm going under my egg a little bit, allowing the runniness to run off and go underneath it. Yep. So you don't have.
I don't have any running.
So you have a little bit right
well,
there.
Right there. Should
Yep.
I just make a hole for it?
There you go. We'll help each other out.
Okay.
There you go. And then
Now
you don't have
lift.
much.
Okay. Oh, but I want that. Oh, I see. So like any of this little extra bits.
Yep. Now it's cooking. So we'll leave it like this for 1 second.
So do you feel like a spatula like this is the good implement, like the
you
easiest?
need a rubber spatula.
A rubber spatula.
Yep.
Okay.
Would you rather just put our toppings right here and fold it over, or do you want to flip an omelet first?
I think I need to learn to flip.
Okay. We're going to assist the flip. It's called
Okay.
assisted flip.
Assisted flip.
I have my spatula under a little.
Yes.
And I'm going to use that to help me flip my egg over.
Oh, the whole thing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, no way can I do this.
Your
no
left
way.
hand is hard
Yes,
for
I'm a
left-handed people.
Everything's hard for us.
So go towards the top.
Wait, what? Oh, because I was gonna flip it that way, but
Oh,
you don't
that's
think
what's more comfortable. I'm not left-handed.
Okay,
so
yeah.
everything's different for people
Okay,
who are.
yeah, we're special us
So go
lefties.
under a lot,
Okay,
and then
I'm
you want
under
to
a lot.
assist
Okay.
it with the flip over like that.
I'm scared.
It's like jumping in a pool.
I can't. Okay, one.
You have it.
I know it's gonna fail. Okay, one. I don't want to ruin it. See? No,
you're
but
good.
it didn't.
Now you go back and you just get the rest over.
Okay, but
See?
that wasn't good.
That was good.
Is it supposed to? No, I did it wrong.
No, you're perfect.
But is it? Look, it's folded now like a burrito.
You're gonna fold it over again. It's okay.
Okay.
So now you'll
just
put your
leave
cheese
it, just
inside.
roll with it like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Now you'll put. I like Gruyere cheese.
Okay, me too. Which
So
one's that?
That's that one. Yes.
I like that too.
So put it on the furthest point of your omelet,
Oh, that's interesting. Why is that?
because you're gonna flip it over and you want all the heat to sit right on top of it.
I'm gonna do. Which is this sausage?
That is sausage.
Sausage is my
Yes.
favorite. Ham is my favorite. I'm going for it.
There you go.
And all on the side too again.
Yep, all on that side. You did a good job flipping.
I don't know. I want it, but was it supposed to be like half like this, or was it supposed to really be covering the whole can?
This is at home cooking. You know, now if you were in the restaurant and we had to, see, this is what you're about to eat at home. So that is perfect for at home.
But I want to get an A, Darnell. I want to be
that's
like.
That's an A minus, but it's still an A.
Okay.
You know? So
okay.
Then I want to flip my egg
Okay,
over
we're
to
flipping
the other
again.
side.
Oh, like another folder, like this, like that?
Yep, just fold it over. Yep.
See, assisted with Darnell. Now it's getting kind of brown. Is that too brown?
No, you're fine.
I mean, look, this is a disaster.
That is good.
No, you know it isn't. And now these guys are falling out.
Well, technically, you're going to eat them anyway.
Okay.
So you got to keep your eyes on the prize.
But I don't think they're getting too warm.
There you go.
Come on, Darnell. You know this is a fail. You don't have to be nice about it. Can I just creep those guys in there?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And then we put it on our plates.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
I wouldn't flip it again. I feel like it needs another flip.
Flip yours one more time. See? There you go.
Yeah, okay. I like to flip a lot. This is the saddest omelet. You know it. We all know it. Let's compare. Oh. Wonder who did what. It doesn't look that bad.
No, it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're being hard on yourself.
Okay.
This is just one part of breakfast. We still have to do the candied bacon and the powerful pancakes.
Oh, okay. So I'll go get these on the table.
All right.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Yamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
This is a very different kind of program. We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world. Professor, I'm not asking you to predict the future, but what do we think that the new normal is going to be? Is part of this that everyone's rethinking their jobs during this pandemic and their relationship to their employers? What is your biggest tip for any parent who's concerned about this? It's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Everybody loves bacon.
No, everyone loves candied bacon.
I was going to say, usually if I make bacon, I just put it in the microwave. Can we still be friends?
We can be friends, because if you're cooking, that means I'm eating.
Okay.
Yes.
But candied bacon seems intimidating.
Yes. Super Chefs, our restaurants, are the home of the candied bacon.
Okay.
This is our specialty. You cannot even come in and ask for regular bacon. We don't offer it.
How do we do it?
So I'm gonna open up the pack.
Okay.
I'll open it for you. You can get us half a cup of brown sugar in that bowl for me.
All right. Like just pack it a little?
Yeah, pack it down. We're gonna lay our bacon sideways. So if you're cooking bacon at home, the reason why the microwave isn't the best method is because it shrivels down the bacon.
Well, that's true.
Yep. Whereas if you cook it on the sheet tray or you cook it in the oven, it keeps the bacon the same length as the bacon.
Now you have this like wire rack and foil. Is that necessary?
It's really necessary for candied bacon.
Okay.
So we have the wire rack, that way the bacon doesn't cook in its own fat. So
How'd you get into cooking, Darnell?
I got into cooking by watching Emeril on TV. He was my inspiration. He was very unique. And if I wasn't going to be a chef, I was going to be a Navy SEAL, so he had a really good uniform on. And I wanted to wear a uniform.
Now you have a chef's uniform.
Yeah, now we have chef coats, which everyone has to wear I'm going to get you a chef coat.
Oh, I don't know if I deserve it.
First thing we're going to do is we're going to freshly cracked black pepper on top of it.
How much?
How much pepper do you like? A little bit.
I only like a little.
So we'll put a little bit on there. See, that's the thing about cooking. It's about the person, not the recipe. I'm going to go right down one piece first.
Oh, okay.
See, you're a rebel. You just went everywhere. I
know. It's like, well, I didn't know. Now I see I should have watched you first. Yours is more classy. So you're putting a lot on there.
Well, I want to taste something besides sweet. Because black pepper also has a little heat to it.
Yeah, okay.
And then we're going to sprinkle brown sugar on top of each piece.
So
Be
yeah.
as attentive as you would like to.
Okay.
Here we go. So if you want to grab these two and take them to the oven, I can
Okay.
open the door for you.
Oh, we're doing oven. We're not frying. Yeah.
No, always at home. Turn your oven on 400 degrees.
Yes.
Put your bacon on a rack and just put a timer.
Oh,
You don't
really?
have to worry about it anymore.
Okay.
It'll come out perfectly and it won't lose all of its size.
Oh.
We'll go ahead and put these in the oven on 400 for
400.
25 minutes.
Okay, got it. Does it matter which rack?
No, because we're gonna use both of them.
Okay.
Now, if we had the broiler on, then it matters which rack. But
Okay.
since we have it on bake, it won't matter.
All right.
See, you are almost there with candied bacon.
That wasn't that hard.
No, that was easy.
Yeah.
These days, the news never stops. The morning's headlines change by afternoon, and by the end of the day, it's all totally different. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. I get it. I know that it can be hard to keep up. So let's get started together and go from there.
Hey, I'm Hallie Jackson, and we have a ton going on tonight. Here's the deal.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Time to give yourself an entire body reset.
Let's go. The new approach to saving our planet. Simple life swaps, great for the environment.
This is quite the spring break crowd. We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? Hey, Miss Lester. Hey, who's this?
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Ukraine and Russia. Could you help me understand what's going on?
So to help make sense of it, we've created a newscast just for them. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Top Story with Tom Yamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? Hey, Miss Lester. Hey, who's this?
Making Space, the inspirational podcast from Hoda Kotb. Listen now.
It's pancake time.
Okay.
So I gave you a personal recipe of mine. So, you know, I worked on this for years to perfect it.
This is the Darnell Ferguson perfect pancake. Right
Yes,
here.
this is it right here. So we're going to start with the batter first.
Bye-bye Bisquick.
Yeah. Yes, bye-bye.
Okay.
So what we're going to do first is our wet mix. We're
Okay.
going to start with our version, well, my version of buttermilk.
Okay, 2 cups, which you can see. Now, why not just use old buttermilk? Like, why are we using our own?
Okay, so this is what happened. In the restaurants, buttermilk is so expensive
Yeah.
compared to regular milk that I could not feasibly charge people what I had to for how much the buttermilk is costing me. So I figured out how to make the same exact thing happen.
So milk plus, oh, this looks like a 1/4 cup of
Yep,
the
distilled vinegar, yep.
Okay, and am I just stirring this up?
Nope, just let it sit.
Oh, okay.
Let it sit, the curdle a little bit. You see it's getting a little thicker
Oh,
up
I
top.
do see that.
See?
Oh,
Like
okay.
buttermilk would get.
Interesting.
Yep, so we have that going on. Now let's go ahead and crack 3 eggs inside of here.
Okay.
There we go. There for your shells.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Thank you. You wanted to use the side of this at first, I can tell.
I did, but I fought the urge because you taught me, and I don't want you to think I'm not listening. I am definitely
Thank you.
listening. Yeah.
Let's try this last egg one-handed. So the key with one-handed eggs is you just want to separate it like this. That way when you crack it right in the middle, you're just pulling it apart.
Okay, I don't know how this is gonna go.
It was a little nervous when I had to learn it my first time. There you go. Now you just pull it. There you go. Look.
Stop! Oh my
Good
gosh,
job.
I would high five you, but I'm all yolky. Okay, now am I whisking these?
Yep, you're gonna go ahead and whisk them together.
Am I trying to get air like I was to the other?
Nope,
to the
just
omelet?
incorporating.
Okay,
There you go,
so
perfect.
is that good?
Yep.
All right.
So let's go ahead and add our vanilla to our eggs.
Okay, let me see. It says I'm obsessed with 1 teaspoon vanilla. Okay.
1 teaspoon of vanilla going right in there. This is our wet mix.
That's it.
So you can go ahead and pour this inside of here if you like.
Okay.
See that? That's what we want right
Wow,
there.
look at that. How interesting. It's all lumpy.
Yep, just like buttermilk.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, so it's mixed. So,
Now this is where I could get kind of messy.
so we'll move that to the side now because you have it done and it's perfect.
Is it
You know-
whisked enough?
Oh, it's going to be whisked up now. So now we have our dry mix. We have our flour here.
Yes.
We're gonna add sugar. We are adding 3/4
3/4 cup sugar. Okay. This says 1 teaspoon baking soda.
Then 2 baking powder.
Okay.
Yep. You need twice as much baking powder than you do baking soda when you're making this batter.
Okay, good to know.
There you go. So we got a little salt going in there too.
How much?
1 teaspoon.
I hate it when they don't tell me how much, you know? I want to know.
Yeah.
It's always like, you chefs, it's always like, a sprinkle of this, a dash of that. Like, well, what about us mortals? We don't know what to do. Okay, now, do I stir it?
There you go.
Okay. Now I'm just kind of mixing it about.
Incorporating it in before we mix everything at one time.
Okay. Flour is so messy.
This is where you put the apron on in the restaurant.
Yes.
You put it on at home.
I really should. But I wanted to wear the sweater because we're gonna make magic. Abracadabra.
A little bit in.
And start stirring.
Yep.
Now is this one of those things where you don't want to like, oh shoot, over mix?
This is that thing.
Okay.
That you don't want to overmix.
How's my whisking technique? Like
You whisk with your shoulders. You want to whisk with your
like
wrist.
what? Like that?
Yep. So more like
Like
this.
show me.
You see less. So when you're doing it, your whole arm is into it.
That's right.
Yeah. You just want to.
I'm whisking.
Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
It already looks
You
like
see your air
nice and
bubbles
thick.
starting
Yes.
to form.
And air bubbles are okay, right?
Air bubbles are what's gonna make it rise.
Oh.
You know, it's gonna be those little pockets of air that's gonna form. So you're perfect right there. You don't have to mix. Look at you.
Clean whisk.
Clean
I was
whisk.
never worried.
So now we're gonna move over to this contraption here.
Okay, this
is our flat top griddle, which is also my favorite cooking utensil in the kitchen. So we have it turned on 300 degrees.
Okay.
Look how much fat is on there. That's all you need.
Okay, wow.
So we're gonna get one ladle right there.
Does this look?
That looks great.
Okay.
Go right in the middle of that.
Ooh.
There you go.
Okay. Do you want me to do
I'm gonna have you
yours?
put another- Yep, do one for me.
Now, big question would be, when do you put the toppings in? Like when it's almost cooked? Do I do it now?
Always put the toppings in before you're gonna flip it.
Okay.
Because what happens is, if you put them in now, imagine we put these big old chips inside
Yes.
here now, it's gonna weight down the batter
Yeah.
from rising. We want it to rise, right?
Yeah. When do you flip the pancake?
So you'll see the bubbles starting to form. You'll see the outside of it starting to not break over.
Now, I shouldn't be like messing with it,
No,
right?
you shouldn't. You like to touch your food
I
when
do.
you're
I
cooking
want
it.
to see what's happening. I get antsy.
The goal is when you flip it, you don't want to flip it and the batter runs everywhere.
Why is it already smelling so good?
Because I did the recipe.
Does it have
So-
a little Darnell magic?
About 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes
Okay.
on each side.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
ready to flip
Now,
some
well, wait.
pancakes.
All right, let's watch the flip. We already had, okay.
See, I'm going under first. Make sure I got enough underneath there.
God, the pressure.
And then just
Go
a
on.
good flip.
Mine's bigger.
This is
This is like, okay, come on.
confidence. See, confidence.
Do it.
1, 2, ready, go.
Yes!
Perfect. Look at that.
Yeah, and that's perfect.
And I see you want to smash it
I
down.
do. I wanted to
Don't
so
do it.
bad.
I see
I
you.
wanted to-
You wanted to smash it down
I
so
did.
bad. I could
What?
tell. No, because you want it to rise.
Okay.
You know, allow the baking powder, baking soda, and the vinegar to do what they were created to do.
Wow, you really get me.
So let's toast to
Okay.
your pancake flipping, your omelet half flipping.
Half flipping.
you
I'm
know,
working on that.
But you're doing a great job.
What about egg cracking?
Oh, the egg was 100%. One hand.
One-handed egg
cracking.
cracking.
So we're ready to go have the plate here, and then
Okay.
our next go around, we're going to just get creative.
Ooh.
There you go.
Yum.
Now let's drop some more
Now,
pancakes
do I need to
down.
respray?
Well, I'm gonna wipe it down first because you
Okay.
can see the oil now
Yeah.
has started to burn.
Yeah. I'm gonna spray it up.
Yep.
You do yours too. Okay.
Perfect.
Now, let's see if I've learned this at all. How's that look to you? Enough?
Great.
Okay. Now, wait 10 years while it cooks on each side.
It does take some time. I will
It
give you that.
does. Now, because the previous Savannah that had not been personally trained by Darnell would have probably flipped it right then. Because I'm like, oh, bubbles. But now I know, kind of wait.
Even bubbles.
Patience, grasshopper.
So what kind of toppings are you gonna, what kind of filling are you gonna put in these? I'm going
I-
funfetti for sure.
Yeah, I think if my kids were here, they would definitely not pick the blueberries because it seems healthy and close to the earth. They'd go more for this.
Yeah, so you're gonna do chocolate and
I
peanut
think
butter?
I'm gonna do chocolate and funfetti. Is that crazy? Or chocolate and peanut butter?
Now that sounds like a
Chocolate peanut butter
Snickers made
sounds
in
good.
heaven.
Yeah, that does. Okay, you're right. Chocolate
Okay.
peanut butter.
So go ahead, now it's time.
Oh
Look
yeah,
at
it's
that
time.
pancake.
Okay, so now I'm gonna see how you just spread throughout or only in the middle.
Oh, all throughout.
My kids would die over that. That's so fun. Now look, I want to flip it,
Now
but
you're
now
ready.
am I? Because then this is gonna be right against the hot stove. That's okay?
Oh, that's what we want.
Oh, okay.
Same time, okay?
Oh, go on.
One,
Oh boy.
There
Oh
you go.
boy. Stressed out.
1, 2, ready, go.
Yes!
Perfect.
Okay.
That's a perfect pancake.
Look at, almost smushed it down. I'm never using the box batter again.
Yes.
That
We're
looks
ready.
done, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So I like to put them upside down so you can actually see which pancakes are which.
Yes.
Look at that.
Ding, ding. That looks so good. Okay. Bacon's almost done. Should we do a couple more, I guess?
Yes, let's chop a couple more while we get the bacon out the oven.
Can you save this batter, by the way?
You can use that batter for the next 5 days.
No!
So make it one time, cook a little bit that day, the next morning you wake up. That's how people cook pancakes every morning.
Oh my gosh.
It is that time to get this bacon.
Okay.
There you go, so you don't burn yourself.
Yeah. Oh, you've heard about me. Ooh, it smells so good. Oh my gosh, this looks incredible.
Shut up.
Ah, graceful as always. Okay. There we go. Man, that looks good.
Look at that bacon.
Oh my gosh. Yum, this is perfect. It seriously looks so pro. Now I'm just trying to.
Extremely hungry.
I know, me too, me
So
too.
one thing you want to do is while the bacon's still hot,
Yes.
you want to move it off the tray.
Okay,
because
so-
if you let the bacon sit, then it has that chance that it's hardening from the candy.
Hardening, okay,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, so move that, yeah.
Perfect gloss on top of the bacon.
I mean, it looks
See little
perfect.
specks of brown sugar. I imagine this is the one you made because it has less brown sugar on it. I'll take the
It's
little
true, but that's
bits
good
and
to
pieces.
know.
I'm starving now.
Okay. All right, shall we? Want to grab the pancakes?
Yes, let's go eat.
To stand on the edge of the cliff and jump takes a lot of guts.
If I never got to sing another song, I would still feel the joy that I feel right now.
We are meeting people one after the next who have made profound changes.
It's the little moments that are the transforming moments.
Oh my gosh, I never thought of that. Oh my gosh, I could apply that. I want to stop for a second. In season 2, I think you're going to be blown away by the life lessons.
Join Hoda for new episodes of her podcast, Making Space. Listen now.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
We're here to start conversations about the big things happening in our world because it's not my job to tell you what to think. My job is to think about what you tell me.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Can this still end diplomatically with Vladimir Putin in charge of Russia? There's a Supreme Court nominee. What would it take for you to vote to confirm her? So I guess the question is, can this end with sanctions alone? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
To stand on the edge of the cliff and jump takes a lot of guts. We are meeting people one after the next who have made profound changes. I think you're going to be blown away by the life lessons.
Join Hoda for new episodes of her podcast, Making Space. Listen now.
Breakfast with the Breakfast King. Let's go.
Oh, and now the breakfast queen.
Exactly. Well, trying. Maybe princess.
Princess.
The breakfast apprentice. Okay. My omelet doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's a little wonky, but I'm sure it'll taste just fine. Okay. Pretty good if I do say so myself. How's yours?
Whoever made this knew what they were doing.
I gotta eat the pancakes. I mean, come on.
That's good.
That is so delicious.
It's
Oh my
nice,
gosh.
it's light.
It's light, it's fluffy. Goodbye, boxed mix.
Yes.
Hello, Darnell.
A couple more
Oh my gosh.
ingredients to buy at the grocery store, but it's worth it.
It's worth it. It doesn't take that much longer. Mm-mm.
Now you have to
That
try
is-
the bacon too.
Okay. Oh yeah, the bacon.
You forgot all about the
I
bacon.
know, I did actually. That is delicious.
I'm glad you like it.
We love to have people over. I love to cook a big old breakfast. This is a good time to kind of show off and make it seem like you got skills.
Yep, and all it takes is a little sprinkles, some chocolates, chips, and some peanut butter chips.
Oh yeah.
Takes it to a whole nother level.
And the candied bacon.
That will be the star of your house if you have a party or brunch and you have that.
I mean, people will never leave.
Well, now you gotta put it in to-go boxes.
Yeah.
That way they know it's not for here forever.
Thank you so much for teaching me.
No, thanks for allowing me being easy, understanding, and not touching the food so much.
Well, I feel like you gave me some really good secrets, like some special just Darnell stuff, and I'm so honored. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Things I've just been working on for about 10 to 12 years. you know?
Yeah.
Gave them to you in 10 to 12 minutes.
I know. It's like all this heart. I'm really excited to
Oh.
try it.
You did a great job.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yes.
That's right.
Good morning. Breaking news. President Biden heading to Poland this morning for a first-hand look at the growing refugee crisis along the Ukraine border after emergency meetings with world leaders and a warning to Vladimir
NATO
Putin.
has never been more united.